We pick up from where we last left off. It has been 6 days since the party participated in Jigao's Festival of Merit and discovered a vestige of divergence in the depths of Black Rock Grotto. You've begun receiving visions in your dreams from an entity calling itself Elixion. The specter from the vision spoke of being shackled, forgotten, and begged you to bring his amulet to the dark temple where he prayed to his gods in the past. Packing your cart and purchasing a mount, you departed from the jumble town of Jigao in pursuit of the mystical significance of the Jewel of Three Prayers. You continue your journey across Xhohas, intent on following the southern road that leads toward the military fortification and outpost of Bazuzan and the Fortress of Evil guarded there. Along the way, you've encountered your fair share of challenges, foes, as well as friendly strangers. After several days trekking through the wastes, you've come to rest at the Emerald Loop Caravan Stop, a verdant forest glade thriving around a god-blessed oasis. You've spent the evening and night mending wounds and bonds both, having reunited with some old friends and rivals. Some of you sought and found inner peace. Some of you communed with the dryads and the grove keepers of this place. The rest of you have mostly kept to themselves and enjoyed a fair measure of respite. Healed and rested, you sit by the campfire, discussing your plans moving forward. As the party continues to discuss their plans going forward, a newcomer enters the glade. The stranger is a high elf of slender build, average height, and with pale skin, as pale as blue-gray marble. His long charcoal black hair is streaked with strands of white and silver. His eyes study the verdant grove, two bright yellow irises, the eyes bloodshot from the restless journey. His muddied, thick leather boots leave footprints in the moist ground. A hooded rain cloak, the color of muted jade, drapes over his shoulders. A stained off-white shirt peeks from beneath a set of leather armor, and a bandolier strapped across his chest containing all sorts of potion vials and component pouches. A quiver of crossbow bolts hangs at his side from the hip, and a minute hand crossbow is slung at his other hip. Anthony, as Zeno enters the scene, you get a good look around. You've spent last night sleeping under the canopy of a thick sentinel at the edge of this forest, and finally, after days of travel from Asarius, you've arrived at the clearing of the Emerald Loop Caravan Stop. You see a gargantuan beast resting at the southern edge of the glade, an adult Kinspachi specimen, a horizon-back turtle, upon whose shell is built a multi-story complex serving as a mobile home to a goblin family. They busy themselves with repairing the structure, hammering away at nails and securing canvas as roofing for the rickety structure. Further into the glade, past the ring of caravans surrounding a large campfire. Sat at this campfire, you see several individuals. You count 5 humanoids and a saddled moorbounder. They look well equipped for travel and combat in the wastes and are currently huddled around a pot of fresh beef stew on rice that smells tantalizing compared to the rations you had to rely on for the past few days. Would you like to introduce your character to the party?
You mean Fate's Fortune?
Possibly. I heard some group described as yourselves had won a grand competition.
We did. All of us worked together to take a jewel from a shark, and with the help of the others that are in this groove, manage to slay the shark and find an area to rest just afterwards. And it's what brought us all together, and then we're kind of on a sort of a spiritual journey, as you can say.
Spiritual journey. Okay. Yeah, you called yourselves the Fate's Fortune?
Yeah.
They needed a name. It seemed fitting at the time, yes.
Okay. Well, every group needs a good name. And yeah, you I must be fortunate, because if you happen to be heading down south into the woods, I am actually on a mission myself. I have a contract to bring in the head of some monstrous creature that's been stalking down there. The way the lumber, sorry, what were they called?
Here's a soft reminder. Your Monster Hunter's contract includes a sketch of the fiend that you were assigned to hunt, a signed promise of 10 platinum diadems upon delivery of the fiend's head to a certain Valenthelis of Bazazan, and a potential future work therein, as well as details of the location of a logging site where the fiend was last seen, on the northwestern edge of the Vermaloc Wildwoods.
Yes, there was some loggers. So I spoke with some goblins back west, and they described a fiend that's been stalking the woods. And I took on a contract to retrieve its head and head up to Braxion. The way that this creature was described to me, I've never heard of it. It sounds very close to other beasts my house has seen before. I don't know if any of you have heard or seen of a glad resu, but the way this creature was described, it sounded familiar or like that type of monster, but different. Depending on what you're heading south for, if you help me, I'd gladly help you. I will definitely need some help bringing this thing down.
I was about to say, whoever gave you this contract seemed a little foolish just to send one man by himself. It's possible. Right now our hands are currently full with some things that had developed in Jigao, but along the way we might see whatever turns up, and then if anyone else wants to add anything in.
You said you had a drawing of this, or a sketch of this creature.
Yes, I do have a sketch.
May I take a look at it?
Yes, ever so shortly.
Tom Rye would like to take a look at it and is curious if he's heard of creatures described as such in the tales he's heard from his tribe and other people that he's heard from and wandering.
Roll me, this will be Arcana check, and the sketch that you see, if whoever's character shows it to you, I'm gonna look up. I sent you in private chat. Just give me 2 seconds. I have it here.
Okay.
The sketch that you see. There's the link. Let me paste it to chat. Is this creature over yonder?
Oh, Jesus. Arcana check. That would be a 15 in total.
Looks like a werewolf, but perhaps like more abyssally affected somehow. And then you note the 4 arms. 2 smaller arms toward the chest, and the 2 hulking arms to either side of it. Never heard of a werewolf with 4 arms.
This is a very interesting creature. I'll pass back the drawing.
You will possibly be able to, like, your character has met plenty of drow. You can see the skin color and the hair palette is very much drow-like. If this creature is related to drow or somehow related to Underdark, that's very possible. But you're not quite sure much beyond that, because I don't think you've ever encountered one of these things before.
No. Definitely wouldn't have. Maybe I've heard in passing, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anybody else want to see the sketch? By all means, I'm not hiding anything here.
Sure, I'll have a look.
What is your name, by the way?
My name is Zeno Tradark.
My name is Riot. The tiefling you spoke to is Melina. Then we have Galavan, as you can see, is over there with the closed eyes. He rarely does open them. And then we have Naya right here. There's the Dragonborn. And the dark elf, the drow you see here is Julian.
So, just for clarity's sake, I'm gonna pick them one by one. We have... Oh, you have them in your journal. It's all good, okay. I was gonna be like Melina, Julian, Rice Pudding, of course, Riot, Nia, and Discount Gosariot. Gavin. I'm just kidding.
It's nice to meet all of you.
Melina's a little suspicious, like someone just walks in all by themselves through the desert, but she keeps it to herself.
Zeno continues finishing that bowl very hungrily.
Are you still hungry, Zeno?
No, this was very good. So, you also mentioned you have business here. What are you folks looking to accomplish?
Well, right now we need to go find a prisoner that's been taken from one of the outposts out here. Someone close to the Inquisitor over in Jigao. Just I guess a simple fetch quest. Hopefully they're still alive. We ran into an armed escort yesterday of Scorpion warriors and a couple other things. So it's a little fierce out there. The nighttime only brings horrors that fly into the sky like shadows. So we want to retrieve someone by the name of Regis Oleus, if you know him. The Inquisitor back in Jigo is looking for him.
Never heard of the name.
You've heard of the name, or at least half of it. Oleus. Last name being that of Den Oleus. The leaders of Sarius are of Den Oleus.
Oh, okay. I did not... You said prisoner. Was not aware there's a prison.
He was taken as prisoner. Right, you're bleeding through. He was taken prisoner, and from the Griffin View outpost, which is going to be east of here, we were able to, like I said, find those Scorpion warriors. They had a map that was pointed to possibly a holding center. It's the strongest lead we have right now, but
do you show him?
It's something. The what?
Do you show him? Do you show him?
Yeah. There's really nothing too much on that map. And I'll just point out, like, if you, when you see the icons, if you were to draw straight lines where they all intersect, that's where we're going, and that's in the Vermaloc woods.
So Melina pulls out a piece of unrolled leather, above which are the several markings, as well as the map, I'm guessing? Just for clarity's sake?
Yeah, the map.
And the map. With the intersection of the 3 points have been triangulated, and fate seems to smile at the moment.
I see. Okay. Well, I'm not too familiar with that exact part of the woods, but then again, I'm out here looking for something apparently not many have seen before or heard of, so I have to start somewhere. So if you're willing, maybe I can join you, as one of you had said. The more people in a party, safer in numbers.
Yeah, right now there will be, 11 of us? So,
11.
Looking.
Well, where's the rest of you?
The group behind you to the north. They're the other adventure group that we were competing against in Jigao. They're actually quite capable, but we'll be requesting their assistance with something. Struck a little bit of a bargain.
He looks over. And what do I see when I look at that?
The first creature to catch your eye is almost sends your trigger finger onto your crossbow. A enormous ogre, her back turned sort of away from you and glancing behind her shoulder. You can see like a jutting jaw and these piercing blue eyes. She's wearing a set of heavy breastplate armor coated over with an area of flowers. And instead of a club or a brutish weapon that you expect from an ogre, in her hand she's holding a book that she is examining before she's putting it back into her adventuring backpack. Next, you see a drow elf of noble clothing, very fashionable, bejeweled with a circlet and piercings along his ears and silver on his neck. That seems to be practicing the last motions of some somatic spell, whispering to himself. You see a human with a scruffy set of barely a beard, barely whiskers of a mustache, very shaggy bronze hair, who seems to dourly stare into the forest for a moment before returning into rather silent conversation with a water genocide of orcish descent, perhaps, judging by her tusks. She's holding onto a long, barbed fishing harpoon that she's sort of tying a rope to, a line, and tying the other end of the line to her wrist, and sort of testing it by throwing the harpoon across toward like a dead tree trunk that's laying in the grass and just piercing through and pulling on her harpoon back to bring the tree like 5 feet close toward her and pulling the harpoon toward her and just sort of going through those motions and practicing with the weapon. The last two is a stout goblin, perhaps 3, maybe 4 feet in height, yellow-skinned, long, droopy ears with this heavy set of like cleric's armor and a shiny, polished holy symbol around his neck, and a barbarian-looking dragonborn type who sort of lifts up the goblin and makes fun of how light he is, and with this hearty laugh sort of amuses himself, and before putting the goblin down, and two of them sort of laugh it off. The group seems to be bonded together, another adventuring party, all sort of bonded together with the same sort of uniform color, this maroon accents across the clothes, across their vests, across their hoods, their cloaks, streaked across their armor, all in maroon.
I see. So these were your competitors
They are.
you beat out in Jigao? And
They
you're
are.
all friendly, good sportsmanship, I assume?
For the most part. Some are friendlier than others, I should say. But that's for you to decide and, make your ways. But we happen to be traveling to the same place, and it doesn't hurt to, lean on someone every once in a while.
That I can agree with.
But after we're done in the Vermaloc Woods, we're actually going to be heading to Bezoxen as well. We have some business over there to take care of. So, whenever we're done with your our task and your contract, and more than if that's where you want to go as well, that's where we're heading to.
It seems like we're very much aligned.
I'm going to go ahead and pan the camera toward the quieter more among us, toward Nia, toward Galsariad, toward those who haven't yet spoken but simply observed. What is going through your heads, at least? If you're staying quiet, at least, what are your thoughts?
You just called me Galsariad.
I sure did. Sorry about that. That was accidental. I'm sorry. Galvin, what's going through your head?
Nia can go first.
Okay. Megan.
Hello, everyone.
Yes.
Through the bit of having seen kind of like the reaction, just being really observant of of this new stranger, and having been rather observant of small motions, saw the kind of like initial twitch of whenever the stranger looked over at the maroon sticks, and kind of wonders as to what it was, and with that kind of like tries to find some bridges. So you said your name was Zeno, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
Zeno.
Do you have any fondness for games or music?
Games, music. No, I can't say that I do.
Oh,
I
that's
usually stick to myself.
You'll find that this group does like to enjoy music, and if you're ever looking for a good chess player, Maggie over there is an amazing player. You can just ask Julian. He had quite the trouble. She kind of wiped the floor with him.
Hey, yo, Zeno, want to join a band?
Ryan and I quite enjoy sitting down and playing some music every now and again. But like I said, if you're ever looking for a good person to play a game with, Maggie's the right one.
Zeno holds up a horn, sort of strung at his side, which is very much just a horn to call or sound, not really a musical instrument. And he says to the group, "I'm not so sure I'm quite a musician."
Play yourself, so long as you can find some either relaxation, peace, companionship. So many things to be gained.
As the conversation continues onwards, Zeno, you feel a weight of a gust of hot air against your ear, something tickling your neck, and you turn and you see two large frog-like eyes staring at you, and the snout of the beast sniffing at you, trying to get your scent. The moorbounder, curiously, sort of brings its face close toward your bandolier and smelling the various herbs or whatever it is you gathered on your way here, trying to like familiar itself with you. This thing is probably like 7 to 8 feet in height, just prowling.
I would speak up really quick and say, "Don't worry, she's friendly. Her name is Rice Pudding."
Rice pudding, okay. This Moorbear is part of your crew? Moorbounder?
Yes.
Is part of your
Yes.
crew?
We
You have trained this thing.
We did not train it. We tried to save her rider, and in turn, we were unable to actually make it there in time. I've managed to calm her and bond with her enough for her to stay with us and follow us. I'm currently trying to train her to come back to a flute noise that will play a little tip melody. But beyond that, she is very much well trained as it is already by, I believe, the Aura Watch trainers themselves.
Sniffing about, trying to get your rations, her snout sort of clashes against something that jingles. the manacles you carry, and they emit this metallic jingle as a sway, and you just see the two pupils go wide as she cowers back for a moment, and then with a big old paw, very careful, she begins to like sort of tug at that place where those chains jingle.
I playfully take the manacles off and jingle them a bit in front and throw them backwards.
Immediately dashes toward that direction, chasing them.
I see she's quite friendly.
And playful. She's come into her own part of our group.
He is quite protective, though.
I would hope so. If she returns, I would give her a nice hearty pat.
Eventually, with the manacles slimy in her mouth, she returns them, and you've successfully played fetch with a moorbounder. She drops them at your ankles and sort of curls out by the fire. Satisfied with the game, she just lays there for a moment, watching.
Rice pudding, huh? Where did you come up with the name Rice Pudding?
The name was on her saddle when we had found her. So she was named by the Aurora Watch, or by the person who had ridden her.
The Aurora Watch, as a soft reminder, is the army of the Kryn dynasty, the main force that has sort of established itself throughout Xhorhas, uniting the people, and recently has come to clash in a war against the Empire to the west.
I was taking a note here. What? Could you repeat that part? They're what part of the? They're the army
Yes.
for the Kryn dynasty. Okay.
For the Kryn dynasty, based in Rosanna, the capital to the far east, the Kryn dynasty's army, the Aurora Watch, has sort of spread throughout most major towns here in Xhorhas. You've seen the sheer amount of number in this areas. Soldiers draped in purple vestments, some of them having the symbology of the Luxon, dodecahedral sphere or this pentagram shape made in silver against purple vestments, and wearing this chitinous armor made of what looks to be like bug carapace, but large.
Are these things typically part of that Aurora Watch?
Cavalry? Yes.
Cavalry, okay.
Having heard Riot mention the Aurora Watch, she kind of looks around the fire, and it's like happened to our companions from yesterday from the Watch.
They're nearby. You see them to the south. Some of them are going through drills. You see Gaz, the bugbear, the redskin bugbear, sort of giving commands to those who are going through drills. Anon, the Luxon priest, is going through his morning prayers as his sister watches. They're still here, preparing for dawn march toward Basazan.
So what's time of day were you planning to head out?
Hopefully we'll be leaving here shortly. I need to stop over to the north and make sure everything is good to go. And other than that, pick up any last minute provisions that we may need here. I should also say too, if we find your target, your contract, if the demon, if you slay it, the reward is yours. If you find, when we come back to the quartermaster here, we can trade it in, his head, for a 1 platinum piece.
Well, no, I appreciate that, but the contract is to return it to a Captain Valen, and I will. If you help do the work, you help get the share.
Which makes sense, because the army station here might move. Sorry, go ahead.
I only need so much to feed, clothe, and provision myself. Not looking for wealth, so yes, absolutely, I will split the reward. As long as you do your share of work bringing it down.
Riot will smile and say that if you do travel with us, you will never have to worry about going hungry. I can make sure of that.
Well, judging by this meal, he smiles. Yes, you're already looking quite beneficial.
I just imagine Riot showing him a handful of good berries, and Riot's putting just like going, having fed her like 3 or 4 of them for an entire day.
Doing a little bit of training.
Yeah.
I think Rice Pudding is done for food for now.
Oh yeah.
Judging by the clothes that Xena was wearing, he said that. Oh, actually, I can just ask. Sorry.
Yeah.
Xena, you said you came in all the way from the west, from Asarius, right?
Yeah, I followed the road.
And what? Don't mind me asking. Where are you originally from? Like, where are you based out of? You seem a little bit more of the Empire side.
Well, I guess you could say I was raised in the Ashkeeper Peaks. Was part of a house who had trained to slay demons, fiends, and evil.
I can't say I know.
It's not part of a named city. It's not a named town. It's not on any map you would see. Only those who were part of my order would know where to find it, if it still existed.
So no, more nomadic then. That's fine. Can't say I'm familiar though. And what exactly is your order, if you don't mind me asking?
He pulls a collar, a high collar, on the right side of his neck to the side, and shows you a tattoo of the cleric order. Doesn't say that, it just shows you the tattoo.
Melina looks at the tattoo, and she would, as soon as you said excuse me, you don't say cleared order.
You just show the symbol.
Just a symbol.
As soon as she would see the symbol, she would just look down at her food for like a brief moment, stop eating, thinks for just like a couple seconds, and then just like remains eating, and then doesn't say anything else after that. That's a cool symbol.
It's pretty tight.
Oh, thanks.
After that, Lena will finish up, and she's like, "All right, I'm gonna go check on the other group." Galvin, do you have anything else that you need to take care of with Elijah or any of his work?
You mentioned a name. Sorry, go ahead. Hunter first.
I believe our contract has been fulfilled. He's off to do more business.
You mentioned a name. Melina, you look ahead of you, past the fire, past the caravans, toward like the downward slope, and you look toward where the fire beetle used to be contained within the pen, where the cart was traded off. No sign of Elijah. Must have left before you guys rose in the morning.
But the snake guy,
He's still here.
Sekhmet. Okay.
Sekhmet was the other snake lady.
No, that's right. Yeah, I'm looking back at my notes.
This is Kethen Probaka.
Yeah, Probaka. Okay,
Yeah.
I see it now.
He's still here, selling his wares. He's lounging. There's not many customers this time of morning, just sort of watching the road, hoping to see a caravan pass by. Traffic. But it's quite early morning. Mm-hmm.
Before I get up and just kind of make my way around, I'm going to take the long way around.
Right.
Just passing by the stalls real quick just to see like what's available. Is it just basic goods or anything? Just basic stuff like for traveling.
Most of it is the quartermaster's goods, meaning
Okay.
supplied by the Kryn. The beer you drank is Kryn supplied, standard issue. Rations, food, fish from nearby towns, even booze. Herbs, both medicinal and spices. Scribing inks. A Fletcher's station making arrows and bolts, not a smithy per se, but more like a honing stone station for sharpening blades and such, not so much making them. And not many blades are being sold, as it is Kryn property, but it is a station for you to sort of maintain your weapons. A station for soldiers to sort of submit their armor to the quartermaster when they're like off duty on resting. A small treasury caravan that you can see has been like sort of locked from all sides. But in terms of goods being sold here, you'll be able to find most adventuring gear that you'll need, backpacks and such, from Cathand if you want. He's like the adventuring gear merchant here, so to speak.
I am Le Poor, so
Yeah,
I just
same.
browse.
I went.
Yep, go for it.
I was gonna say I went to go to the cart inventory to see what we had to sell. I know Riot picked up some stuff from the Scorpion boys that he would like to sell to people, sell to the traders. I just don't actually see it in the inventory anymore.
From what I remember, you managed to harvest 1 dose, 2 ounces, 1 dose of the Scorpion
No,
Tinka Leaf poison.
Their weapons, their massive iron chains and everything like that.
2, well, I guess it was on your old sheet, you forgot to copy over, but I remember you got 2 10-foot each, these spike chains, and 2 serrated broadswords that were like
I would like to try
oversized.
selling those.
Sure. To whom, though?
The person that deals with the blades.
Both of them do. Not so much dealing with blades, but both of them will buy them off your hands. You speak to the quartermaster, and he would buy them to melt a steel and reuse it for whatever he needs. Horseshoes, other blades, like not weapons. You don't want to reuse steel like that, but he will take them off your hand for 20 gold pieces for both blades.
For everything, or just the blades?
For the blades.
All right, I'll do that.
Okay.
For the blades and
20 gold pieces, no problem, exchanged. Are you sure you want
And-
to sell the chains? Think about it.
no, actually, I'll hold on to those chains. Actually,
Okay. Just add them to your inventory so you remember you have them.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'll put them to my inventory.
Coolio. Melina, as you go and browse the shops, you see Cathan sells all manner of travel, rucksacks and backpacks, blankets, healers' kits, hunting traps of all matter and kind, oil, be it for lamps or for burning, parchment should you need any sheets of paper, rations if you need food, but you're good there, rope, plenty of it, quivers of arrows and bolts, both, sacks if you need containers, and tents if you need extra. Sort of limited in a stash are potions of healing, should you require them, but they go for a little bit higher price.
I have no monies.
Okay.
I don't think I have anything that I could even sell.
For those of you looking for the merchant's wares, I'll just post them in general and you can decide real quick whatever you want before we leave this place.
Wouldn't be anything along the line of like a light crossbow there.
Yes, but not for sale.
Okay.
It's there for the taking. If we're breaking the law again.
I think we're good.
Okay.
I hold my light crossbow a little bit tighter. So I'm looking through the merchant wares, the list here. Is there anywhere, you might have already said this, is there anywhere to purchase maybe some daggers, a couple daggers? Anybody selling those?
Again, weapons here are not so much sold as they're contained for the Korean Dynasty soldiers, sort of secured behind a single lock. They're there for taking if you dare. In terms of weapons seller, it will probably be closer to a major city like Asarius, Jigao, or Bazuzan will be the closest places that would sell weapons. This is unfortunately a weapons merchant that just did not arrive to this caravan stop yet. Anybody else browsing for anything? We can get it over with real quick.
I'm good.
Okay.
Ryan?
Yeah.
I was going to give some gold out for selling that stuff to people. I was going to give Melina 10. I was going to give Nia 5, and Rat was going to hold on to 5.
So type it into chat so people know exactly what amounts to get. That way we are coherent about those amounts. And while you're handing that out, I'll pan over you to Melina real quick. You said you were approaching the Moon 6?
Yes. It seemed like that we were like in accordance with like the plan that I had ruled out, but just wanted to double check. And
it's probably good because hands up, who here did not read RP chat since last session?
I'm good. I've read RP chat.
Okay.
I can go over again real quick if needed.
If you don't mind.
So what I had proposed to help with, Nia's debt, and, since we're on this task already, that I appealed to AO about like a sense of honor and glory. They're going to take the recognition and the reputation for, helping save this man. We're basically going to default like, yeah, we had saved him, so we can get good favor with the Inquisitor, but we're going to allow them to take the glory.
Along the lines of like, we could have done it without him, essentially.
Yes. I also offered to give them the 5 gold coin that they had slain the Gloomstalker with. I made that information known to them, so any demons along the way will be subject to, splitting. And then I'm also allowing Galceriad to attune to the vestige for 1 hour.
The vestige?
The Jewel of 3 Prayers that you have.
Okay. I got confused by that term.
Many names.
Yeah, so I allowed him to look at the jewel. I had shared my findings with him, told him about the gravity well and everything, so I gained a nice little bit of favor with Galceriad. Hopefully he's not too much of a dick in the future, but AO is the party leader, and then so I brought that to their attention, and I'm waiting to see what they say.
AO being the Blue Genasi, just for Anthony context.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I was trying to piece together.
It's just remember we have a new player among us, so it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Cool. So
this one over here, that's Galceriad.
Yeah.
You'll meet them. You can talk to them. I mean, like, they don't bite too hard.
So while finishing up, making herself, presentable and just ashing out the last of her cigarette and everything, she'll approach AO and say, have you given it any more? Have you given it any more thought as to will you be joining us on the road?
Thought? I mean, we had a chord that we struck, didn't we? An hour with the jewel, and well, the group follows my word, and we'll give you an escort. I think it's only fair. There's strength in numbers, and I do believe that we all want to arrive safe to Bazuzan one way or another. We do not mind the day's detour. Frankly, I want to see my friends safe. And we almost lost Irvin last time, so you help us, we help you. And she goes to inhale to say more, and then you just hear Galceriad say, but the Jew. And that's all he says.
Yes. She kind of like points her finger saying like, yes, you are right. I can fetch that for you, or, on our way out, I will give you the time that you need. I made it known to my party. Seems like they agree with this as well. And any knowledge that I have, I'm willing to share, and I'm willing to help support your group as well.
Sorry, Nick, I don't mean to laugh at you. I'm just like, how do I? Because they're all one token, so I'm like, how do I make them like? How do I make Lacerda face you? I'm just rotating them like it's a 6 shooter.
It's like an angel with like 6 different faces.
Fear not. Yeah. Guess I just feel like, for what it's worth, I know that it takes some measure of sacrifice of pride to own up to your mistakes and to the mistakes of your peers. I do appreciate that. I want you to know, and I hope that the two of us can work together as colleagues, not as rivals in the future. If you deliver on your end, I look forward to our cooperation, says Galsariel, and it's like the first time he's not using any stings or sarcasm.
Yeah, and Melina notices that's like, cool. Making waves out here in the ocean.
Right.
The ocean being
the-
middle of the desert.
The ambassador gaining like 4 points with the party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. She goes to turn away, to go back to the party to get everything ready, like round everyone up. But before she does, she turns back real quick. She's like, "I'm sorry, we actually just ran into another visitor here in the oasis. It seems like he has a contract of some sort going down towards the wood. I said he's more than welcome to join us, safety in numbers and everything. So we'll see what that happens. He seems to be some sort of monster hunter."
A monster hunter? Oh, I'm looking forward to meeting this guy. Oh, make way. Alright, let me shake his hand.
And just Craxus, the Dragonborn, just makes his way toward the camp. I'm just gonna be like, fucking whatever, like, amalgamation, move over. Whatever, it's just, we're not doing battle. Craxus...
The whole horde approaches.
The hive mind moves.
The hive mind.
The hive mind. They all speak in unison. No. All jokes aside, approaching you as you see the Dragonborn. Let me show you what he looks like. There you go. Extending out a meaty hand, to which strapped is this round buckler shield that you can see has been seen some battle, has been lacerated and chipped away at, and he just goes to shake your hand.
Craxus Vitalis. Pleasure to meet you, newcomer. Seems like both you and I are new to this glade, so I only thought it would be appropriate for you to be the first to meet, well, me.
That doesn't seem bright.
Okay. A little sort of how big is this Dragonborn? Is he
He's standing a head over you. He's broad shoulder built, and Dragonborns in general are taller. But you have that high elf gene to you. He's just taller than average of his kind. So a head taller than you.
I give him that barbarian handshake where you grab each other's forearms.
He just pulls you in and just slaps your back twice.
Pleasure to meet you as well. I hear we're all banding together to head into the woods.
Sure are, and I hear you're a monster hunter. Tell me, what is the biggest thing you've ever killed?
The biggest thing? By myself or with others?
Even better if it is by yourself. More glory for you.
So I did not put a lot of thought into that. Let me think of something.
Oh, come now. Must be memorable.
Lie. I don't know.
Lie. I'd say a dire boar.
Oh, those are huge. Meal for days. Good on you. Good on you. Taking on a boar. You slim thing. You man on sticks. I'm just kidding around. I'm just teasing you because you're new. It's called hazing, right? That's the word, hazing. Yes. Strange language you're common.
And Crax just goes to sit down with the rest of the group. The hive moves. I'm sorry, this is funny to me. Yeah, you get to meet the rest of the Maroon Six, approached quickly by Dermot, the little goblin. Introduces himself as Dermot. He does a gesture that you have come to recognize as sort of gesture of faith, greeting and a blessing upon you. Those who hold the faith of the Luxon, the first radiance, the light of reconstitution. And he inspects you and just sort of goes, You look rather gaunt. Have you been eating well? Perhaps I can get you something for my tent. I have some remedies. Your complexity, it's a little pale.
Me? No.
You.
This is how I was born. I've always been this color.
Oh, I didn't mean no offense. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure you're okay.
I appreciate the concern.
Galsaria, the high elf-looking drow, high elf because of his noble attire, looks at you lifting up a brow and just says, I could get you some makeup if you're looking to sort of highlight your features. You look like death.
What is makeup?
Oh, honey. That's all he says. That's
Imagine
gonna be
needing
fun.
makeup to look pretty.
This session is now Queer Eye. The large ogre in their midst, if you're looking for height, she's standing way over you. She's standing as tall as the caravans all throughout. Maybe like 9 feet in height. Brutish looking, but very keen eyes, gentle demeanor. Doesn't say much, but when you catch her gaze, she just kind of sort of shyly nods toward you and just says, hi. But she keeps quiet for the most part.
As each one speaks up, I do want to not only introduce myself, I am Zeno, and sort of give them a look, expecting to hear their names as well.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, so we have... I'm going to give you the handouts, but you should be able to find them in the journal under creatures, named creatures, rival adventures. No, never mind. That's my folder. Player handouts, and somewhere in there you'll find them. Aojabe is the de facto leader of the group. She introduces herself, doesn't mince words much, speaks very frankly to you. You exchange names, and that is as far as the business between you goes for now. You've met Dermot, the little goblin, Galsariad. The ogre is named Maggie. And the human among them is Irvin, and for the time being, he also doesn't say much. I'm trying to sort of limit to how many voices I have in my head going on at once. But you get their names. And they get yours.
Wonderful. Pleasure to meet all of you.
Yes, same, says Ao. We are ready to go when you are. We'll just pack our tents. Probably will take us 20 minutes to pack away, and we don't have a cart or anything. We'll carry anything on ourselves. I hope you don't mind foot space. Unless you wish to scout ahead. He's just sort of speaking to all of you. Ao. Any last minute exchanges with the Maroon 6 or anything else you guys want to make camp, or shall we expedite this and say that you guys pack away and make ready for your journey ahead?
I think I'm all good. I would just say thank you to the Acorn Sisters, and that'd be just really about it.
Yeah, Riot would also go back and have his own few moments with them as well. I don't need to roleplay that, though.
Well, okay, well, at least what do you say? Because Nick says his part. Million rather, but yeah.
Riot basically would talk to Lorana?
Lenara.
Lenara.
Yes.
And basically thank her for all of her guidance, her gifts, and her knowledge that she has passed on to him through the Mother and also the Weaver. And say that everything she has taught him and the Mother has spoken to him, he will also pass on to the rest of the world, and also try to help the Mother grow in places where the Mother has not been yet.
As we have taken care of you, so shall we expect you to take care of the earth and that adorable little beast of yours. She is the goodest girl. Take care of her.
I will do what I can to take care of her and make sure she is very well cared for. She is a little spark of life that helped me find my way.
And just like the Wild Mother's circlet, so shall your circle come renewed and around, and she will take care of you in return. Until we meet again, I'm sure it will be some time as written in the rings of the oak. Goodbye, Riot.
Thank you very much for your guidance. Morana.
Give this to your pack. She gives you, blooming from her hand, a 6-petaled flower. Looks like almost like a lotus that engorges and becomes all colorful and blooms in her hand. She picks it and gives it to you. Consume one each and be blessed.
Consume a petal?
Yeah. Eat the flower.
Flower goo.
I eat rat.
I eat rat.
All right.
What is this flower?
It's poison. It's gonna kill you instantly.
Perfect.
Um,
I
Consume
steal
it.
everybody's flower and eat them all.
Over.
She
Right.
just gives you the flower. This is my body, and you're like,
Take a piece of my body, and may I always travel with you. Riot would actually inquire what flower it is.
Yeah. Agreed.
You have never seen a specimen, and I'm not even gonna make you roll because you're not gonna succeed this. It's a unique creation she has just made.
Riot was just asking her what it is.
It is my body. Consume, please. I don't have a name for it. It's just a creation she made, and she thinks about it a moment. How about you name it? Isn't that fun?
What is it?
I see what you're doing, DM.
I think
What
I'll
does it
name
look
it. It looks like. It looks verdant at the center. A black. So I don't know flower parts, dude. Why are you making me do this? I don't know biology.
You brought it up.
That's Megan's part. A verdant stamp spreads out into white petals, and at the edge of each is a different color associated with each one of you. For you, a vibrant green. For Nia, the same scale of her opalescent scales. There's even that pattern along the leaf seems to be patched and mottled to represent dragon scales. Gold for Galvin. A black streak with silver for your newcomer. Purple with a hint of blue for Julian. And crimson for Melina. Immersion.
I want to smell the
Which
flower.
one's for Riot? Describe the one for Riot.
I said the first one, the one that has like it's white and has like a verdant sort of tip to it that works toward the white and crossfades into it. It smells like fresh cut grass.
Yeah.
I eat it.
Riot will take off. Riot will bow his head and say, "Thank you very much. This is almost a flower of fortune."
Choice. As you consume, you feel nature's blessings work towards you. For the duration, or as long as you have the supernatural blessing from the supernatural deity, which it lasts until you use it, one charge, you can consume this blessing to remove any exhaustion you are suffering, cure any disease or poison affecting you, and maximize the effect of any hit dice you spend to regain hit points within the next 24 hours after you consume this blessing. This is called a gift of vitality, something granted by dryads and creatures of nature that are very powerful and want to repay thanks in return. So I'll go ahead and post this into chat, and you can, I guess, add this feature or whatever. Call it Charm of Vitality. There you go. One charge per petal. Meant for one for each of you.
And Riot will take off each petal and give it to each member of the party, so everybody would have their petal.
Eat this flower. No context.
it have to be eaten now, or can we just like wait whenever?
You can wait whenever, but it doesn't look like it would wither anytime soon. But plants don't last plucked for long, and once consumed, this is how magic works. And if you're not, then Lennar explained this. The gift will last till you use it, so you're not losing anything by consuming it early.
Oh, good, because I ate mine.
Yeah.
Did you have a chance to swallow that, Zeno, or did you have a chance to chew it before you swallowed, or you just swallow it?
3 crunches, max.
The OCD kicks in. Just 3, no more nor less.
Any more than that, and then you're just mashing it.
Yeah, and then it's gross. But fair enough.
I'll hold on to mine for now.
Okay, just make sure you add it to your inventory and don't forget.
Yes, I do.
Coolio. Technically, any creature can consume it, so. Woo, Suramar. Sorry. World of Warcraft vibes. Anyway, to expedite this forward, gathering the Maroon 6 and such, any other last minute things you guys want to do in camp?
Not for me, no.
Okay, cool.
Stands up, stretches. I'm ready.
Okay. I'll put us on the map then. What time is it? 7:45. Okay. 45? 15.
7:14.
I don't know. I'm wearing my glasses.
7:45. What the fuck?
Okay. Does anybody need like a water break or anything?
I do.
I got my eggnog right here.
Cool.
Nice.
Is it hardened eggnog?
No.
Yeah,
I'm on
me-
antibiotics. No hard eggnog for this boy.
Okay. Take 5 minutes to get like water or anything. I will just come back and we'll begin our journey then.
Okay.
And if anybody wants to during break to like really like shop for anything, let's get it out of the way now. Because later on, once we're out of here, I'm not gonna do any retrospective shopping.
You run into a traveling merchant.
No.
I'm kidding. God.
No. I don't want to have 3-hour shopping session.
No, let's have 3 whole weeks of shopping, Don.
Yikes. Travis
If Galvin's
Willingham.
still there, I'll tell him, or if Hunter's there, I'll tell him about the hardened eggnog at LCBO. It's actually called
Yes.
McWilliams eggnog.
Okay.
McEvans or something like the eggnog.
Yep.
It's bourbon mixed with it. Very delicious.
I'm sure.
Do the full ad read. Maybe we'll get sponsored.
Oh no, I won't. I drink like 2 or 3 bottles of it before Christmas anyways, normally.
Yum. Just jamming.
I gotta rinse out my water bottle here. I got the hydro flask. I'll get out all the juice.
So I'll go ahead and remove the 2 broadswords from the cart inventory.
Yes, please.
I have the chains in the the chains in my inventory now.
Do you? I'll remove them from the cart then, just so we don't have duplicates.
10 foot, right?
15 actually.
I'll change that.
15 each. Please don't crash. Nope, not crashing.
Oh, Jesus.
Reconnected. Okay. I'm just praying that OBS does not give me SAS, because it's been giving me SAS for the past like 3 days and it's been crashing left and right. I've managed to retain the file somehow, but the recording gets all scuffed. So.
That's not good at all. Sorry to hear that.
I manage. I hate when I have a problem and I don't know why it's happening. Figure it out. Figure it out.
It could be some kind of like CPU thing. I
No.
find most programs when they crash for me, it's CPU related.
If you look at OBS when you're recording, it shows a percentage of how much memory you're using. I'm using like 2% of my computer when I'm recording.
Ooh, you have an AMD card?
No.
No, okay, because if I run some older games and they don't use enough, It's very, very specific games. My GPU crashes.
Because you have AMD.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming so, yes. So I was like, if you have AMD, that could be a thing happening, but...
GeForce, my guy. GeForce is where it's at.
Listen here, Tom Alam, the card didn't exist that I wanted, okay? And let me tell you, those fucking 2080s were going for a hot cake. God damn those things. Ooh.
I'm gonna take the time, since I don't know if Anthony went on break. Are you still here?
I'm listening.
Do you have questions I can answer now while everybody's sort of sorting their things out IRL?
At the moment, I don't. I am trying to add as many notes as I can. I was actually just got done sort of taking notes of the handouts you had for, what are they called? The Maroon 6.
Yeah. So just so you know, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do live notes. I never am able to type live notes. What I do is I wait till the end of the session. I try to retain as much as I can, and then I review the video, quickly skipping like, combat or whatever is not noteworthy. This will be uploaded later, so we'll be able to like sort of like a video journal review this. It's good to take down names and go for it. But I'm just saying that don't worry if you miss anything. Hopefully the recording won't crash and it'll be reviewable.
No problem. I will definitely ask questions when they pop up. I certainly can't keep up with note taking at the same time.
I'm not asking
the
you
game's
to.
going on.
Yeah.
No problem. My method actually is to just jot down maybe one sentence, short notes, shorthand, and that way later at a different time I can go back through, organize it, clean it up.
Yeah. I am currently gonna post in the same channel, the Face Fortune chat. I'll post the names of all the rivals for you if you're looking for spelling stuff.
Already found it, grabbed it. Thank you.
Excellent.
It's easy.
Okay, cool. Anybody not back yet? I don't know why I'm asking that question. I'm not gonna say yes. Who's here?
I'm here.
Megan?
No.
Here.
Riot?
Here.
Okay. Now we're just waiting on Anthony. Oh, we're just waiting on Anthony. That's fine.
Present.
Why does my thing say use the character master? Why do I have a thingy for?
So
You have no XP in the slot.
Can
It just assumes you're ready to level up.
can you click out of it?
X.
Let me-
Yeah,
let-
X works.
Okay, cool. Because when
It
I
did the same thing for me. I
What-
just exited it.
yeah, and Rule 20 is being weird. I don't know why it's thinking we're doing not milestones. I set the game settings. But anyways, let's go.
Let's go with Mario and Luigi.
Setting out with the Maroon 6, you head towards a triangular location toward the north western edge of the Vermaloc Wildwood. It is about a day's journey and a half. Overall, indeed, there's strength in numbers, and any encounters you have along the way, whether it be the rising undead from the sands or the occasional wild beasts stalking from the air, you guys either manage to hide away or unite together in epic battle to defend one another side by side. So overall, the journey is safe. You eventually arrive to the edge of this forest in perpetual autumn, whose trees grow a smooth purple bark and bloom in colored hues of deep red, orange, and maroon, a stark contrast to the often dreary landscape of Xhorhas. You see the forest itself is expansive, stretching miles into the horizon. The trees and their roots spring outwards from the ground, creating small entrances to shaded hollows. The dense canopy spreads 2 stories above your heads as you enter the forest. The forest floor is heavily composed and populated with tall brown ferns and clusters of yellowed flowers here and there. You see large, naturally formed monoliths protruding through the forest underbrush, here and there. Eventually, after some hours more of travel into the second day, you pass by an abandoned loggers' camp, its many buildings veiled by spider webs. This place has been maybe abandoned for a week or so. You see the tools have been left behind. Whoever was working here has left in a hurry. Past it, a stony footpath leads further into the woods, navigating toward the triangulated coordinates on your map. Eventually you arrive at the edge of this footpath, where it ends at this sheer stone face of a tall cliff.
Oh, there we are.
Do we have does everybody have vision of the map?
Yeah, I can see the bottom.
Just the tree. Everything else is blurry.
It might be loading. You might need to zoom out a little bit because it is a big map, but it will load eventually. Right. Who is leading the party? Or I guess you guys can act on your own volition. You've arrived.
Well, Melina would just probably say, like, we'll take the lead on this since this is our, task and everything. And have the Maroon 6 cover the back. We'll put ourselves in the danger if that's where it comes from.
No problem, friend. I will protect your back like it was my own.
Fair enough. They'll take the rear. Pull in the rear. As a lot of you can glance around, you see a barely noticeable crack in the wall ahead. It seems to lead to the mouth of some sort of cave. You see tracks in the ash-gray ground beneath your feet that indicate that several things have come and gone from the cave recently. Several feet past the entrance of the cave, so those of you with a more dark vision peering into darkness, you can see the near gray shades, maybe a little bit red, dim glow of these bioluminescent fungus growing along the walls.
I'll start heading around. So what is your ruling on tokens? Should I just start moving things?
Just describe what you're doing. You can move ahead. If ever you go too far, I will stop you. It's funner if you, as you move, describe what you're doing.
Agreed. You said we were at the cliff, so I'm gonna walk around and then break my ankles hopping off that cliffside.
It's like 5 feet. You'll be fine. You're free of that feline dexterity of yours.
Well then, I will hop down. To get a better angle, I want to move over in this direction to get a better angle, peering into the cave where I saw, or where everybody kind of sees these foot tracks leading.
Not feet.
Ping?
Can I ping one?
Could you ping where the bioluminescent is? It's in there. Okay.
Do your eyes see keenly in the dark? Did I set your vision? Okay, I did set your vision. You're fine.
Yeah, I do see it.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to maybe smell the air, see if I don't recognize maybe a fresh scent.
Sure. Zeno, go ahead and roll me a perception check using your smell. 9?
9.
So,
I'm gonna, if you don't mind, let me roll it one more time, and then just sort of, I'm gonna declare that this character does get advantage on smelling fiends, fae, and undead, and so that's my roll.
Do you want, for the sake of clarity and maybe making your team more coherent and working together as a team, do you want to say which specific feat does that? Or at least paraphrase? That way I know how the mechanic works. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let me throw it in here.
Sure. It's fun when your team knows what you're capable of.
Yes. I'm glad you said something.
Yeah, heightened senses. When you choose, you gain the improved senses of a natural predator. You have advantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on hearing or smell. Hearing or smell, that's good to know. Okay, listening into the forest, taking in the air. You sense the scents of the forest throughout. The local elk, or perhaps deer, that have walked through here recently and then strayed away from the cave. Perhaps frightened by something from within. From within the cave itself, you can feel this rotting, awful smell, like that of corpses, and it's coming from the mushrooms. The mushrooms sort of mimicking this sort of scent. Listening in, though, you hear nothing but a hush of maybe a draft going through the caves. No movement within. Not near you, at least.
Okay.
But there is death on the air.
I would sort of turn back to those behind me. I'd say exactly that. I have the smelling death. Could be these mushrooms, but there's a chance that might be covering something else up.
I can only imagine. This is the place, if the map is right, it's something with the Betrayer gods, and I can only imagine the amount of bloodshed that's been had in there, if that's what it is. Or perhaps it's your contract.
Why betray gods is the thought that crosses probably your newcomer's mind. Remember, he doesn't have context.
Oh, I thought it was just like everyone just in the world knows what Betrayer gods.
It's just nice to review.
I'm going through a lot of... Boy, how do I wrap up the Betrayer gods?
On the subject of divinity, and then you just paste everything I pasted to Julian in our RP chat, just like the multi-paragraph.
Zeno sits down. All right, tell me everything and start at the beginning.
No, that's too long. No, just Betrayer gods, those who were basically had a war in the Calamity.
Yes, I am familiar.
The Prime and...
I'm just making sure that you're familiar. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
And you feel this cave could be related?
The map that we had from the Scorpion Warriors had 3 of their markings from the Betrayer gods. Groomsh to the top, Children of Lolth to the bottom left, and the right I can't remember.
Neither can I. Hold on. We'll both get it at the same time.
Of the underground something, wasn't it?
Disciple of Zehir. Zehir. Zehir.
Okay. I know I have it somewhere. I just have...
It's okay. I didn't give you a handout or anything because it's not something you would have right off the bat remembered. Yeah.
So Melina's just gonna double check, just making sure landmarks are kind of landing where they need to be. If maybe we're missing anything, but it looks pretty good, and just kind of turns to everyone and be like, all right, well, let's proceed inward then. We need to get this done, and we're running out of time, and I don't want to make the other group be waiting on us, so let's get it over with.
Shall we then?
Riot will slide off of Rice Pudding, tap her on the shoulder, and say, "Stay close, but don't stay close to me." And we'll lead ahead with his goggles down, so he has better eyesight if it's dark in here.
As we, before we enter the cave, given the ominous nature of both what Melina and Zeno had said, Nia first approaches Galvin and casts heroism upon him, and then goes to Melina and
just before you do that, you know how the spell works. Just it only lasts for a minute.
Oh, I suppose I only need to do that in battle.
It's up to you. I'm just saying it only lasts for a minute, so just you're not wasting your spells. You know how to work.
Okay, I'll hold off on heroism until we
Okay.
or something.
It's good to know that you have it though.
But as a precursor, so I did forget to do it. Grants for today, because it functions on a daily process. Bardic inspiration to Melina, just so that you remember how that works, and add the additional context of magical inspiration as you are a magic user.
Also, real quick, just want to backtrack real fast. Like, along the way, I would have given Galceriad the amulet and everything. We attuned to it. It takes about a day and a half. Would we...
I figured that you deliver on your promise, yes.
Okay, but then I'm also assuming that, like, hey, I gave you this, blah, blah, blah. You've had time. Maybe he passes around once or twice. That's fine. Then we would eventually get it back then, right?
You have to remind him to get it back to you.
Okay. So I currently do not have it in my possession because it wasn't mine. So
hold on. You have to remind him that to give it back. And trust happens. He gives it back to you, but he doesn't pursue you. You notice that he didn't pursue you to give it back to you. He tried to hold on to it for as long as he could. Eventually, does follow on his promise. And I mean, what choice does he have? It's not like he's gonna betray you here.
Yeah. We had a whole day worth, so I mean, I was one to giving him more than an hour. It's like, hey, we have a whole day. Like, we're not worried about it, but we would have at least probably gotten it back. And then I was going to say, if Nia wants to take it back, I'm fine with that. Or if somebody else would like to have it.
As I don't think we're going to have time for another member to attune to it right away.
You would, because you traveled here for a day and a half.
Technically, Megan, you wouldn't be attuned to it anymore. Anyways, anyone would be able to.
She can retain from it because Galceria did not attune to it.
Oh, she didn't. Oh, I thought Galceria did attune to it.
No, he only studied. He just wanted to identify it to know what it's capable of.
Oh.
Yeah, but no.
Wait,
I was not the last person. I was not the last person to attune to it, though. It was Julian.
It was me.
No,
Galvin.
Galvin.
All right, Galvin. Last person I did not name.
If anybody wants to, feel free.
I'm going to address that later, but...
Address it later.
I mean, I'd be curious to see what Rye would get.
That's fine. I'm open to whoever taking it.
We can leave it to Melina. I don't know what Rye would get anyways.
I'll say this, Nick. When you went to get it back, and maybe the reason why you didn't pursue you to give it back, he was super annoyed. Maybe it was because he had to give it back, but maybe it was because of something else. But it seemed like he was really annoyed with something with this jewel.
Okay. I'll address it later.
Cool.
So, to clarify, who is taking the jewel?
I don't mind taking it, I don't mind taking it, or I'll give it to Riot.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter. I'm open to anyone having it.
I'm curious what Riot would get, to be honest.
Okay, you take it.
Do it.
Part of your decision, yeah?
Do it.
Give it to Zeno. We'll see what he gets.
Oh boy.
Zeno just picks it up.
I imagine I'm not really... I'm not really aware. To me, it's just a trinket everybody just wants to hold.
Yeah, it seems to be really obsessing over his small piece of gold.
I don't know why everybody cares about a little heirloom, but...
Okay. Riot, you're tuned to the object. Probably sleep with it after the first day after getting it back from Galceriad. Attuning to it, you gain all of the properties listed in the item, as well as the property of the Mote of Exaltation, which, with you, gives you Master of Hexes as a feature. You can spread your Hexes curse. Oh, fuck! But you're reclassed.
That needs to be changed.
But yeah, I will change it now. Just give me 2 minutes, real quick. Your Druid of Stars. Okay, Druid of the Stars. It will take me 2 seconds. No big deal.
While that's going on, I wanna address the group.
Go for it.
That gives you time. It's sort of, now that we're present here and I'm smelling death, again, don't know what it might be from. I'm not familiar. I've never worked with any of you. I'm not familiar with your capabilities. Can each of you sort of share what you excel at? I would hate to get into some sort of scuffle and we're all scrambling. I find it
Sure.
best to, when we work together, I find it best to really know each other's skill sets.
Nia goes forth and begins. As you may have noticed, I enjoy my instruments
Damn.
as I am a bard and I am a bit of I enjoy a good melody, whether that may be to pleasure your ears or perhaps to frighten an enemy, as well as being a dragonborn, having an innate breath attack. Do be careful of the lightning. It hurts.
It
Um,
hurts.
and perhaps giving a bit of inspiration from time to time, but otherwise, I am also adept at healing. I have the healer feat. Um,
Goodwill and
I
medicine
do not
kit.
spend very much time at the front of the pack. I am very much not attuned to front of combat.
You are not. You don't typically rush right in, is what you're saying?
Most definitely not. I tend to be more towards the back. I do have the ability, I do have a rapier to take a bit of a blow with some psychic blades, as I mentioned. My sounds can be both healing and terrifying.
Sounds awfully useful. What about you, Riot? What do you excel at?
Riot would smile and lightly put a paw on your shoulder and would be, well, my views have changed recently from what I used to be. Beforehand, I used to be running headfirst into whatever trouble there might be, perhaps even cause trouble of my own. And I did not really care about life, whether someone died or lived or we left an innocent behind. But given the fact we were in the Emerald Loop and there was a small druidic grove that I fell upon, and I went under a transformation, and now I am more on the natural side, nature side of things, and I wish to keep people alive and not allow anybody to fall. I went from being in the front to perhaps being in the middle. I have I have spells that will allow me to heal everybody, and I will also have abilities to hinder other people's movement. So I would say I'm not frontline anymore.
That's a great transformation because life and joy is very precious, and it should be saved when it can.
Nature is all about the circle of life, and I am now a part of that. So if you keep me alive, I'll be able to keep you alive.
Agreed. Julian's not here, is that right?
Yeah, he's not
Julian seems like the more roguish type. Silent for the moment. I don't know what Julian is actually. Like he is yet to define himself, really, if you think about it. But from just his clothes and the meters, he sticks to the shadows, keeps quiet. The astute type, the studying type. I'll let him define himself when time comes to. But if you're curious, the roguish type. Maybe some magic to him, but I won't have him run in combat this session.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
I'll let him introduce himself.
Melina, how do you benefit the party?
Well, for me, it's more about the arcane arts, more specifically in dunamancy, controlling time, manipulating it. I rarely want to get my hands dirty, and I'm more than happy to help some of the others in their time of need and try to keep everyone some kind of cohesion. But I'm not like the Empire's battle mages, not built for raw, destruction, just more of controlling.
As you say, Empire, you hear a soft grumble come out from his throat. Good. All right. And how about you, Galvin?
I'm a fighter, frontliner, dual wield specialist.
straight into danger.
Yes.
Me, myself, as he holds up the crossbow, I tend to stay away from danger if needed. I very much am a fan of strategy, and it's pretty much the only way I was able to take down a dire boar. So I like to wear things down from afar as much as I can, and then when they do get close, I do have melee features to help me should I need it.
Very commendable.
And I'm just a party animal, says Rice Pudding. Just kidding.
Damn, Rice Pudding can talk. Right.
Yeah, this entire time, the cat can talk, yeah.
If I do a ritual spell, I can commune with Rice Pudding. If you ever do wish to speak with her, I can be the mediator for that conversation.
You cast Speak with Animal, she just puts on a monocle. Quite.
Have a bit of crumpets.
Yes.
I do appreciate
good
all of you
berries.
sharing. With that said, I get Zeno gets his crossbow ready. I don't know what's in there, but my advice was prepare yourselves.
Well,
And then I'll follow you,
What was that, Hunter?
Galvin.
That's fine. If
No,
I had
no.
to hazard a guess. Demons, maybe.
Hmm.
Or some other weird shit. Anyways, get in there, Riot, with your fancy goggles.
Riot will go with Galvin, right with Zeno next to him, so the three of them traveling, and he will watch out and make sure there's nothing going to surprise them.
So just
Right.
Yeah.
for context,
Right.
we left.
Yep.
Sorry.
Sorry, we left our card inventory and Penny at the mouth. Right, we're not taking them with us.
Discuss. You have Penny with you. You have your mule and your cart by your side. Where you wish to leave it?
Leave it tied at the tree.
Should we ask one of the other people if they'd guard it? Or maybe Julian will guard it. since we're not
Julian
here.
can guard it,
Yeah,
Yeah, there you
Julian
go.
can guard it.
and
yeah.
Riot's gonna turn to Rice Pudding and be like, "Could you please guard the cart and make sure Julian doesn't get into any trouble?"
We're leaving Rice Pudding behind.
Man,
Rice-
maybe my joke
Yeah.
about Julian getting eaten by a demon will become true.
No, that's not happening because Rice Pudding will not get eaten by the demon. Galvin, you can go jump off a proverbial mountain.
I said Julian, not Rice Pudding.
You said Julian.
For a cat with big ears, you don't hear too good.
No, because Rice Pudding is staying with Julian, so if one happens, the other one might happen.
No, see, Rice Pudding has what I like to call self-preservation instincts. Julian does not.
She's just like walking up to one of the trees nearby, and she's just like scratching with her talons along the bark, yawning all the while you're discussing. Yeah.
No, Julian is like, oh, giant sandworm. I will jump in the mouth.
Well, actually, that was Captain Gaz, who involuntary jumped into the mouth.
Well,
To be fair, save Galvin.
To be
Julian
fair,
kind of did it too, though.
But anyways, people, stack up.
Degens.
Yeah. Are you hiding Rice Pudding underneath there?
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking cute, actually.
stealth engaged.
I did put her there hoping it would defend her a little bit more.
Yeah.
It will come back for you, Rice Pudding. Do not worry.
Okay,
Shall not
now
leave
look
you.
behind me.
Okay.
No lights.
Riot will keep his eye out for everybody.
All right. The Maroon 6 follows you in as the three of you sort of in the lead on. You're about 10 feet away from this spore-puffing mushroom. You can see the particles in the air as you approach closer with your sight sort of rendering
I
it.
did not mean to go.
It's okay. I that's why I'm describing it before you approach it. Does anybody have any torches out or any other light sources that I should give you guys now before we continue on? Or do we just go in darkness?
Darkness, please.
I think most of us have dark vision, so.
Irvin cries in the back.
Poor Irvin.
Just hold on to somebody. I've done that before.
No,
Yeah.
Irvin's gonna get out a torch.
Yeah, torch is fine. It's,
Just
We have a lot of people with heavy armor too. Like, good luck trying to mask a party of 11 people.
Riot from a distance kind of wants to try inspecting the mushroom.
Okay. Riot, roll me a nature check.
Dun, 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 dun. 21.
21? Awesome. What is that nature? Okay, 4 modifier. You've actually seen this, I try again. You have actually seen this mycelium before. It is an nocturnal mushroom that sticks to their shadows, named Dreamsbane. Dreamsbane mushrooms, when exposed to sunlight, tend to wither rapidly, especially in non-moist environments. But more disturbingly, the mushroom does not grow so much on water as it does on blood. On offal, on the dead. It grows where across battlefields, it takes where blood has been spilled. You've seen it along the, I almost said Sword Coast, the Menagerie Coast, and it is often used by the more tribal people, maybe even your clan if they're into that, to make Dreambane tea. When you take the caps and you boil them in water, they produce a sort of almost this red extract. Take out the cap, drink the water, and it gives you a hallucinatory sort of effect, which some shamans use to sort of profane the future or otherwise go through various tribal rituals. Those of meager constitution tend to overdose and stuff and just simply go into like a deep slumber and experience Dreamsbane, the effect therein nightmare. This nightmare can be harsh on the mind, and it's not a restful sleep.
Riot actually would like to harvest some of that, because yes, his tribe does deal with that kind of stuff, because we do have shamanistic leadership in our elders.
The stem could probably fit in both your hands if you put them together. It is about this thick. You would need a pretty, like a blade of a sword or a pretty long knife, or just to work away at it with your herbalism knife around the perimeter. Do you do so?
I would do so, yes.
Okay.
Riot would ask if Zeno would assist him with this.
Yeah, I'll assist where I can.
Zeno, still with your sort of passive perception, with your sense of smell, you can feel the awful smell coming from this thing, and you approach. The spores. It is that smell of blood, that irony smell, and that smell of offal, of rot, of sinew, coming from the mushroom. You can tell just from the smell, your body reacting to it. It's not something you want to breathe in for long. Shielding away your face, you assist Riot. The two of you can either roll separate checks, or you can give one of you guys the help action. It's going to be a harvest survival check.
I have a +6 to survival. What do you have?
Oh, I mean, I can give you assistance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That way you have advantage. I think that is what I would do. Given the very potent odor, I'm gonna try hard not to breathe in as much as I can. And
right.
So I will aid, but I'm not going to be as heavily digging in. So I'll give you assistance.
Thank you. I will do the roll then with advantage. 19.
19?
Thank God you gave me advantage.
With careful, you press your hand, one against the stem and the other one working its way around. You can feel the stem quiver as you're cutting it, this thing being alive and reacting to the touch. And the subtle glow coming off this reddish hue is slowly becoming dim as you finally decapitate the cap off the mushroom head. And it releases a tiny spurt of spores into the air. One last one before the rest of the stem sort of shrivels inwards toward a central mycelium mass. Almost like cutting the head off a hydra and watching the neck writhe back into the body. And then that wound seals over with this net-like growth, like a coral sealing over. This thing is alive, it's reacting to your touch, but you hold to one large cap, about maybe 3/4 of a foot in diameter. It's pretty large.
3/4 of a foot?
3/4 of a foot, it's quite large, yeah.
All right.
It is raw. It's seeping with this essence from where you've cut it. And as a last bit of information from your prior night check, you would know that you need to boil these caps, lest they are consumed raw. They're poisonous.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay. You boil away the poison essentially.
Yeah. Riot would actually chop it down to make it actually smaller, so we can actually put it into his pack.
Fair enough. In your
With
herbalism kit, you
Xenotol.
have containers to contain all sorts of
Yeah.
herbs and whatnot. Yeah.
What is it?
Mushroom salad, yummy, yummy. Oh, I would kill for mushroom salad just about now.
Dream
I
Bane
would also
mushroom.
kill. You're making me hungry, Tom.
I know. I've fucking
Also,
Dream
speaking
Bane
of
mushroom
which,
caps.
Is that a backpack?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I'm over there by it.
I'm guessing Melina was going to approach it. Yeah.
Wow, I
Yeah.
zoomed into like 2:30. I'm like, it is a back. I thought it was a funky rock.
I put it there on purpose to be like, I mean, it will meld in the background, but maybe if you guys like have keen eyes and you have light sources, you'll notice it. Yep.
What's in the bag?
What's in the bag? Seems to be some sort of lost adventuring goods. As you examine it, go ahead and roll me just a perception check. Wait, no, you already spotted it. Fuck it. You spot a dusty and torn knapsack. Whatever, it's like a DC 5. You spot a dusty and torn knapsack behind a pile of rubble that contains. You see a full healer's kit, like all 10 charges, as well as a sack of coins. 19 silver pieces and 4 copper pieces, all in all. From the symbols on this backpack, you can tell it was off a Aurora Watch medic.
How many charges are left in the healer's kit?
10.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Didn't get to use it before he lost it.
Well, we might
Right, you
actually
wanna-
have to need this.
Right, you want to split with me?
I don't know. Melina has it right now.
Oh, Melina has
I have it.
Sorry.
I mean, I have it. It's just I'm looking through it, but I don't need it. So
I
It's
have
party.
4-2 medicine, so I wouldn't
Does
mind
someone
having
have a healer's kit already?
I
No.
have one.
Nia does.
How
How many?
I'll take
I have
it. That
8
way.
uses.
Hold
I
on,
can
guys.
also
One at a
use
time.
it.
Hunter first. What was that, Hunter?
I'd be fine taking it because you can expend a use to stabilize a creature, correct?
Yes, you do not need to roll the medicine check to stabilize the creature. And if you have the healer's feat, it's even better, but even if you don't have it, it's good.
That would
I
be beneficial
do.
for me because I
Mhm.
don't have it. Do you have a healer's kit?
I have a
Um,
healer's
the
kit
feet?
and I have a healer feat.
I will allow you
How many-
guys to split the 10 charges among yourselves if you
Yeah, I'll
want.
take 5. That should be fine.
I'll probably
So,
die.
5 to Hunter.
Anyways.
5 left. If you want to distribute them or take it all, up to you. Never know when you
Megan,
have to
how many
stabilize someone.
charges do you have?
Hmm.
I'm sorry.
Me?
No. Megan, how many?
Megan.
Megan, how many charges do you have?
I have 8 left.
All right, just give the 5 to Riot then. The more, the better.
All right, so I got 5 healers kit then.
Yeah, you go ahead and drag healer's kit from the compendium and just change the number from 10 to 5.
Okay.
It will save you time on typing everything out and stuff.
Thank
And
you very much.
yeah, and it will also track in your inventory, so your weight will adjust automatically. It's convenient. Cool.
We
That
can
is
also
it.
just switch it around later.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we like adjusted it. We made it so the weight was like 0.3 and gave it like uses.
I'll
like,
adjust that for
tracked
session if
it.
need be. We'll figure it out. That's it. You look through the knapsack. If there was anything else in it, it was taken with someone else, or you're not sure. Kind of light. It was very light.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just hold on to the coin. I'm not going to distribute this right now.
That's fine.
Well, since we have a torch, well, I guess from the front we don't need a torch. Ready, you two?
All right, we'll keep going with ahead with Galvin.
Okay. Right. You have your goggles on, yeah? You
Yeah,
have
I do.
extended vision. How far do you see?
I have 120 feet.
120 feet of dark vision as you have your night goggles on. Nice.
Yes.
Everything here is in shades of black and white. It's still dark. There are no torches, no sconces on the walls, no torch marks. You notice too. Nothing trailing along the ceiling. Only cobwebs, and the floor has that rusty color to it, like that of murky water or dry blood.
Sorry, I just want to read something real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Uh,
I'm gonna mute Megan for now while she's BRB.
Are there any sticks on the ground? Or pieces of wood?
No. Well, near the entrance, maybe like the forest where people would trail them out, in and out. But on the ground where you're standing currently, just the ashy ground of rock.
Right will tell Galvin, hold up a second. He'll run back, grab a
Right.
piece of wood, and run back. And then he'll cast Druidcraft on it and cause a small little flame on the end. For some light. With a bit of light.
Druidcraft.
I can create, I can instantly light or snuff out a candle, a torch, or a small bonfire.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a torch, but I will
But
say
I can create a fire.
if you have a accelerant and a piece of cloth to wrap around it, you can make a makeshift torch if you want. But pretty sure, don't you have torches on you?
I think we should all have torches here.
I think I do.
Have a torch.
Do you need? I have some torches. Do you need some?
Right.
We probably got like 60 torches between the... We probably have like 200 torches.
Just
I actually haven't looked, to be honest.
Yeah, go ahead and take a look, because for fairness sake, you can't just ignite a tree branch. You can't just start a fire out of nowhere. It has to be a candle, a torch, or something that's already like an accelerant. It's a small spark you...
I do have a torch. Sorry, I will use a torch. I do have a torch.
Pick out a torch, and using Druidcraft, you just snap your fingers and spark, and it's a flame. I'll go ahead and give you that torch, and give you control over it too. Let me just take a look here. Riot. Was it Slipping Gnomes? Yes, Slipping Gnomes.
Yeah.
Right.
There we go.
Hold on, let me just change it to torch. That way it doesn't rule the same initiative as you. I don't want that to happen. And you do have control over it?
Yeah, I do. I'm moving it.
And everybody has vision too. Everybody in the party, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Fair enough. Alrighty.
I'll also take this time to activate the spear as well, and have a cast light that as well.
How far does it reach?
I will tell you.
Also, don't forget, Riot, you get a +1 to your AC, but you can use the vestige as a light source too.
15
True.
feet dim light, and an additional 15 feet. Bright light in 15 feet, and dim
Done.
light an additional 15 feet.
Done. Should be good. I'm gonna say this sword is equipped with you, so I'm just gonna cast it on your token.
Everything is black.
¿Por qué?
My screen is black except for...
Oh, because hold on. Limited vision.
Galvin closed his other eyelids and can no
Now?
longer see.
You good?
No.
Okay, wait, ¿por qué es? Save settings. Let me know when vision returns.
Nada.
Hold on. I think I know why, because you had limited field vision for some reason, and that's weird. 15 of bright light. Now!
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah. So Riot's gonna hold it up to the webs.
Okay.
The ground to see what it is.
You hold the torch to the webs, they begin to burn up.
Okay. And you said there was a grayness to the ground.
Yeah.
Like a weirdness to it.
You see your boots are beginning to like stain with it, like almost like you're walking in chalk. Dust.
Can I I'm gonna put my hand in it lightly and pick it up and then try to move it along the like wipe it along the wall, see what happens. Like
A white
do I
smear
know
upon the
this
wall.
do I have an idea what this is made of?
It seems to be like a chalk stone or something. Go ahead, roll nature.
All nature.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 24. Sorry.
You
I
are
forgot to finish.
110% sure this is like naturally formed limestone.
Okay. So it's okay.
Not
This is just limestone, so don't worry about it. It's
Not-
just going to get over you. It can wipe off.
not grinded up people.
I wasn't sure, okay?
Yeah.
Ever since the bone mill, I haven't been
Riot's
the
going to proceed forward with Galvin.
Yeah. What sort of
Tapping
material is
Galvin, saying, let's wait up for everybody else, Galvin. We can't go too far.
You proceed on through the tunnels. You provided the light. You see before you a branching in the road ahead. There is a collapse to the right side of the wall, and then the road sort of branches more to the left. You can hear the trickle of water coming from a small crevice. It's sort of the water trickling through several smooth rocks, and it continues downwards on a slope toward the left. But that's as far as you can see from where you're standing.
Is the rest of the party catching up?
Yes.
Okay.
The collapse, does it go all the way to the roof? Like all the way up, or is it possible to climb to see over?
It goes all the way up. You lift up your torch and you can see the ceiling here just dips maybe like from 15 feet to like 10 feet into this narrow passage, and it's just floor to roof just collapsed. You can feel a slight breeze make it through the fallen stones, and even you, without having to roll at this point, you're approaching closer to the source of this foul smell, the smell of must and decay coming through.
Smells like death behind these walls.
Perhaps I'm missing a royal patrol watch.
Perhaps. See, from where we are, do we see the left opening up, and to the right was a smaller passage?
You can see, there's a narrow crevice, like a maybe foot wide crevice that extends deep into the cavern system, through which you can see a gentle red glow and hear the trickle of water. Go ahead and roll me a perception check real quick with your hearing. And anybody else can help as well if they go on to. I'm interacting with whoever is speaking, so.
Somebody want to help? Listen.
I'll pull my cloak over his head to like narrow in the sound.
You form a sonic cone.
Perception?
Perception, yes. Natural 20s up and left and right. You can clearly hear, this is far into the cave, past the crevice, into the darkness, from the darkness, a dark, evil sounding like a croak, and it's deep and reverberating, and you can feel it like reverberating through your chest, and it's all the way back through the crevice. And you can hear how a hushed voice reply to it, but you don't make out even from this distance, you don't make out the words, because it's sort of rebound echo, and the sound just sort of fucks up through the crevice, and then you hear the rush of water and just kind of mutes it. There are, for sure, 2 individuals at least speaking beyond the crevice, and one of them is like just a reverberating croak-like sound emitted from it.
I actually really have a really easy solution. I'm going to take my familiar out of his little pocket dimension, Kane, the spider, and I'm going to feed him through.
Oops, sorry.
Have him go look.
Let me put the token down, because you need vision around him. Spider. Fun familiars. Ew. Hey, Hunter, remember this guy?
Oh no.
No.
Not the crab guy.
Hey, Tom, I have one question for you.
Yeah.
Would I be able to tell how large this croaking creature is by how deep it is sounding?
I mean, you can go with your gut. That one you'll have to go with your gut, because plenty of creatures have different voices. But
well, I know the deeper it is, the larger it is. I was just more meaning, like, does he have an idea if it's like a little bit of a oversized creature?
It might be. You have to go with your gut on this one. You don't see the creature, so you have nothing to confirm by, but it sounds deep and reverberating, right? Do you have control of Kane now?
Yes.
Do you have vision?
No.
Kane. Why don't you have vision? Attributes. Let me go to... Oh, because I put a new token down, that's why. Okay. Let me double click on the token. What's the creatures... do you have the sheet for spiders?
Yes.
What's the vision?
I have it.
What's
30 feet.
30 feet?
Dark
Do you have
vision.
dark vision? Yeah?
Yes.
Has vision. Night vision, 30 feet. Dimming 15. Do you have vision now?
Yes.
Let me update that token so you forever have it now. You send your spider. What do you... First, describe what you're doing with the spider, I guess.
With Kane, with a little bit of a flick of her wrist and like the twirling of her finger, she just basically summons him back from way before. Has him pop in out of his pocket dimension, his little pokeball, and just has him in his hand, or has him in her hand. Did you say the croaking was coming down here to the south or to the east?
The crevice.
Okay, the crevice. Okay.
Yeah, just up here to the right.
What she's gonna do is allow him to crawl on the wall. She places him on the wall. He just kind of skitters across, boom, boom, boom. And then he's just gonna start making his way through, and then Melina is going to put her hand on Nia, like as a sort of guide, and then if you're able to see her eyes will go all white, and then she's just looking through Kane's eyes right now.
The last you guys see of the little familiar spider as it crawls is just looking back for just a moment, attuning senses, and for a moment just the eyes, all 8 of them, just gleam white. And then it disappears in the darkness. Skitter through the crevice. All the way through?
He's going to come to the end.
Sorry, go. Yep.
Oh, no, yeah, he's just going to make it to the end. And then try to get like a layout of the room. Okay.
As you enter this chamber, what you and only you see, the spider-webbed tunnel opens up into like a large chamber that echoes with a trickle of water. Many of the same red mushrooms you saw earlier line the cave walls and floor, sort of illuminating little spots. And via this illumination, you can see 2 silhouettes in the room. The stench of rot and decaying things is stronger here than anywhere else. Even with your spider senses, you sort of detect this salivating smell. From where you stand, you can only see 2 of the figures. You see one is humanoid, maybe close to 5.5 feet tall. It is standing in a praising pose before a banner with these glowing red runes upon it that seem to be dancing in almost like a kaleidoscopal effect, shifting. Below the figure is a circle of crimson that glows. It is made of some sort of a bubbling liquid, likely blood, or something other, maybe demonic, or you're not sure. It is an intricate circle, some sort of magic happening, a ritual. The other figure stands much taller, perhaps 12 feet tall, is huge, has a gut belly, and from both its arms it is siphoning out this red essence from what you now realize is a third figure. A drow, who is being on his knees tortured and his life essence siphoned from. This is all happening in the shadows on the far side of the room. You can barely see the details from here.
I want to, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to relay all of that.
Orally, yeah.
Yeah, just like at a lower voice, at a hush, more tone, saying, Regis is in here. There's a bunch of, magic going on. It looks like blood rituals, sacrifice or something. It's hard to say. Describe the giant, like toad-like creature. I want to use Kane to get close. I want to like have him kind of like stealth and kind of be like up on these like little rocks over here, kind of behind it.
Sure.
And through, well, I want to say through that, I want to see if there's anything specific I can hear them saying, or if I can like, if they're like, oh, we're about to plunge the dagger into him, and like if we have enough time or what.
While you don't need to rule stealth from this distance because you're a tiny little creature, and maybe if you have a faint glow of familiar, it is not very noticeable amid all the other cave details. What I will have you rule for the little tiny spider as he's wading through knee-high water is athletics.
Oh, that's water?
That's water where you step, yeah. So I'm gonna say like you're like over yonder, and I mean, do you deep into water? You can see its depth. You're seeing through the spider. And
I thought it was just like a different coloring.
You're on the wall, and then as you go toward the floor, it's just knee-deep water trickling from beyond the cave.
If it's like knee-deep water, I don't think spiders can swim very well. So
Not
could I
this
just
spider.
take the? Yeah. Could I just take the long way around then?
You could take the walls, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I'm mapping out a little thing right here.
That's fine.
Boop 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 boop.
Yeah, that's fair. You're crawling. Okay. Go ahead and roll me Constitution saving throw for the spider.
Okay.
As you're crawling through spore clouds with these mushrooms. The spider does breathe, unfortunately, and it's even more affected by these. You can already see the corpses of the bugs that have perished to these, the unfortunate ones that made it to this cave and just sort of landed on this. The spider takes 4 poison damage, but it does manage to. Oh, easy?
Yeah, he's a familiar. He only has 1 hit point.
Did you roll for? Oh, is it because spiders only get like 1 hit point?
You either just take the 1 hit point, or it's like a D4 -1. So either way.
So, okay, that's unfortunate. It's just from. I didn't know. So I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
I thought. Okay. Well,
No,
it is what it is.
only get like 1 or 2 hit points.
Okay,
They're
I'll give
very
you something
fragile.
though. Before he dies, before he succumbs to the frankly lethal dose of spores, you do overhear the echoes of voices in the chamber, mostly coming from the drow over yonder. I don't know if you can see him from this. What can you see from over there?
I can see this guy here. And
He
these
is
two here.
facing away from you. He's cowled. It makes sense. He's facing away from you. He's cowled. He's praising the wall to the north. And as you see, you can hear he's praying to the betray gods. He's praising. Jumping ahead in my notes here a little bit, but that's fine. Hold on. You can hear him whisper. First, praise be the Spider Queen, whose kingdom was forsaken. Next, I exalt thyself to the Ruiner, whose spear shook the green earth. In turn, I pay homage to Oblivion. And you see him like get out a dagger and just slice his palm, and you see the crimson blood drip down toward the edge of the circle. And it's slowly dripping, almost defying gravity as it melds with the rest of it. I pay homage to Oblivion, the end of all things. Last, I give myself to the crawling king, Torok. And then poof, like your familiar just fucking puffs out of existence, unfortunately, as he just sort of curls up to the poison.
Well, that's 10 gold right there. Fuck.
I'm sorry, man. It is what it is. Like
Hey,
now
gave
you
me
know.
5.
Now you know more
Alright,
about
give me
Chamber, though. So, yeah.
I relay all of that. Confirm that it is something with the Spider Queen, Lolth, but for a Spider King,
The crawling king.
Yeah, the Crawling King. And so she'll come back. Her eyes come back to normal. Well, our target is laying in there. However, I don't think we're all going to fit through this crack, and that's going to bottleneck us. We're going to have to take the long way around.
The only person you look at, the only person who can fit through this crack is Dermot. And that's going to be a struggle.
Yes. Well, can't we technically squeeze?
A small creature can.
Oh, a small creature. I thought we could.
It's a foot wide, like he'll have to go sideways, and then he'll have to squeeze by taking off his armor.
No, we're going the long way then. Yeah, no matter what.
Dermot's
Okay.
squishy. Maybe Dermot should have taken my advice and got medium armor.
I mean, I can take off my armor and scout ahead. If what you've seen is vital, I can be stealthy. I'm a goblin. It's in our blood.
Didn't we just do that with your spider?
I'm just saying.
Putting you into too much harm's way. We don't know the system. We don't know the cave system. If you get caught, it could be a death sentence. We won't be able to fit through there and get to you in time.
Fair enough. That was really cool, by the way, what you did. Can you do that with my eyes?
It's a learned quality. I could try, but we'll get to it.
And then he thinks about it, and you see the look of horror on his face, like, actually, no, don't do that. Can you scry through my eyes at random intervals?
Yes.
Terrifying.
Galsariad seems intrigued by the idea, and you can tell it by his face. He's like, a later experiment, yeah.
Galsariad, the kind of person to make child sacrifices to make progress.
Well.
Riot should be leading Galsariad. I can see farther than you. Galvin.
No, you do
just
it.
Galsariad, so like
It's
literally
really
in my head.
If you mix me up with that fucker one more time,
My hearing is as good as yours.
I'm shoving
Galvin, I thought you wanted to bite him back at Jigao.
Why would I want to be him?
Why are we talking about this right now? Go for it.
Riot is going to move in front of
Riot,
Galvin.
I mean, how far can you really see?
120 feet.
With all these turns, I mean, if you feel comfortable up front, I would suggest Gallon be up front. I mean, there hasn't been a straight run here that's further than 60 feet.
Actually,
Just suggesting.
this one's a little bit farther here.
push.
Oh, for crying out
This
loud!
one's
I just hear like Ayo just cry from the back and just
Yeah.
fucking take lead.
Just go, please.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a piece of chalk and just write like an X on the wall, so that way if we get lost,
Okay.
we can at least try to have a breadcrumb trail.
Right. You just see the maroon whatever. They follow suit with Ayo, and she just pushes through like you guys are taking too long. Like,
Oh my.
yeah.
Well,
We got enveloped.
What you see,
interesting.
right, as you scout around the room, you enter this cavern. You step down the slippery ramp that descends like maybe 5-10 feet down this to this 20-foot high chamber overall. There's a trickle of water to your right where a murky pool has sort of formed. And a small cavern that lies at the bottom of the slope. You can see there's a fire pit extinguished some time ago, indicative of a campsite that was made here. However, you also see bloodied and mangled knapsacks and bedrolls that are all the remains of those unlucky who traveled here.
See something off to the left by that little mushroom. Is that something Mikey sees?
Yes. Though it is in shades of grey until you approach it and it becomes more like a verdant, not verdant, but more like a cerulean red with shades of purple. You see a symbol, a mural upon the wall. The mural on the southern wall of the chamber, it's surprisingly detailed. That of a spider with a skull-shaped body. The eyes in this skull are both two like red gemstones, as well as its abdomen. Looks like this.
They're all gemstones?
Yes, 3 all in all. 1 for each eye and 1 for the abdomen. I don't know where to put it, so it's like
Would this be like Loth the Spider Queen kind of idea that...
Yeah.
Too bad Jolene's not here to pry these things out. Riot would see if they could come out. He doesn't like Loth. He believes he doesn't want to leave remnants of her.
What are you and your party using?
I don't know, a dagger?
Sure. You begin to chip away at it carefully along the edges. No need to roll anything. And one by one, you pry them off from the wall. Roll me for something else, though. Go ahead and roll me a dexterity check. Are you...
Saving throw?
Yes.
19.
Okay. You manage to keep your hands delicately upon just the gem and the knife without smearing any of the mural and ruining its details.
Interesting.
Okay. Then Riot will join the party after slipping them in his pocket.
You have 3 carnelians. Carnelians are 5 gold pieces each.
3 carnelians.
Spelled like this. And maybe I can find a picture of what a carnelian looks like. I'm pretty sure it's like a muted red stone that's opaque and not transparent. Yeah, because you see them in those fucking crystal shops all the time. The what's his zodiac shops. It will paste the picture in a moment.
Oh,
Oh,
those.
Yeah.
Is that like a plant-looking thing that's in front of Melina?
It's like a bonfire.
This?
Bonfire.
It's extinguished bonfire.
Oh, it's the bonfire. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Would there be like any specific things like burned in it other than just like obviously wood for warmth, like paperwork, just
Ooh.
anything of interest?
Roll me investigation.
14.
The ash is cold to the touch. No hot coals buried beneath to surprise your touch. You make your way through it, and you're pretty certain there's no, like, the parchment was not burnt, paper was not, if it was burnt, it's already ash, but there's no traces of it. Looks like mostly wood was burnt here. There's a few stains of blood along the rocks, but, I mean, that's dried blood.
Xeno's gonna cast bonfire right there to illuminate the entire
Sure thing.
area.
Easily done. Xeno, go ahead and cast Bonfire. I have that onto Fire somewhere. Fire and Fireworks, there it is. Boop! There we go.
There we go.
Bonfire.
See some extra light here. See if we can see things in color.
Thank you for putting a spell there. A bonfire does how much light? It doesn't say, does it?
Fills a 5-foot cube. That's all
It doesn't say light.
I'm going to say it's the same as torch then. 2020. That's fine. Boop. There we go.
What an oversight.
What?
Just an oversight on.
In the DMG, light sources are detailed. It's just that the spell doesn't describe it because it's just like, oh, it's same light as a bonfire. So I'm pretty sure it's 2020, if not 3030. I can make it 3030. You guys will see into the chamber better. It is. I'll now look it up after session just to verify. But let's do that for now.
Start rummaging through these sleeping and these bedrolls.
Sure.
If we can't find any evidence of what or who was here.
As you're doing that, I just want to give a chance for everybody who has been quiet to sort of also participate. Nia, Galvin, do you guys do anything? Either of you? Is Megan? Oh, fuck. Sorry, Megan, I had you muted this entire time. That's my bad.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Hold on. Go for it. I'm so sorry. If you said something and I was talking over you guys, I'm sorry. It's just that you were bleeding before when you BRB'd. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Nia joins Xeno in his exploration of the far corner of the cave.
Inspecting what? He's inspecting one of the bed rolls.
Nia inspects. I'm gonna go with this image is more or less accurate and kind of looks into the back, the backpack.
Okay. So Xeno, then you go through the bedroll. You see there's two sets. They're destroyed, along with other supplies that lay mangled against the back of the wall. Everything is here soaked in dried blood. The floor around the features, what you can tell, are like drag marks leading back to the tunnel crossroads, as if somebody was dragged out of these beds. There is a bedside bag upon the bed you're inspecting right now. It is a small bag lying on the bedroll. Do you open it, unlatch it?
Yeah. I would unlatch it and start looking through it.
Okay. It's like a leather roll that unrolls, and you see it's a set of thieves' tools laid out, as well as 6 knives of varying sizes with names along the handles.
Can I read the names or recognize the names?
They're in common. Bone Shaver, Gleam, Grudge, Jabby, Pierce, and Tickles.
As I'm pulling out each knife, I am saying those names out loud for others to hear in case it sparks memory.
Nia, what you find, again, tattered, ruined equipment everywhere. Searching that, go ahead and make me an investigation check. $11 plus your modifier, 14. Okay. You find a small iron box within one of the tattered bags, near the bottom, beneath rubbish. Small iron box has been mangled on the outside, gnawed upon. It's locked. You try and pry it open, it's locked. You can probably be broken open or pick locked somehow. Up to you, but...
We'll put it in her bag and ask Julian for help later.
Okay. You find in the other rolled out bedroll, stashed into the roll is a coin sack with a lot of coins. It fits in your hand and jingles. It's heavy. There's at least 40, 50, 60 coins in this bag.
Cool. Nia puts it in her bag and rejoins her group and describes what she found to the group.
Okay.
So while Nia was doing that, Galvin was gonna look around to see how we can get to where the familiar saw those people, because from up here, I don't see much.
Sure thing. Where do you go?
I'm gonna take a walk around the perimeter and hold my spear up to the wall and look to see maybe there's like something in the ceiling, or something hidden on the ground, like spiders, maybe like a trap door, maybe that rock moves.
Okay. Trying to pry the rock. It doesn't budge. It's a heavy stone. Genuine. You touch it. It has mass. No illusion. You slowly walking around the walls. Go ahead and roll me a. This will be an investigation. Actively investigating around.
Okay. I can't read.
And if you can move your token where you touch the walls, that will help me with context.
So we'll go here. Can you see when I move it like this?
No, I cannot see when you're tracing your path.
Can you see it like this?
Yeah, I can see your token move one space at a time.
Okay, we'll just do it like that.
Yeah. As you trace your hand around the limestone, there is no crevice, no secret passage that you can find with a 15 investigation. However, your foot does stir something from beneath the second bedroll as you sort of walk over it to sort of pat the northern wall. Over yonder, your foot catches upon a bottle beneath the bedroll. Flask.
Ooh. I wonder what this is. Pick it up.
Pick it up. It's a grey shaded liquid that you bring closer to the torchlight of Friat. You can see the color is rust, muddied, and there is a very large toe with a toenail just sliced off and put into liquid. Just rest there.
Okay. Oh God, what's his name? Zeno. Have you ever done this before? Why is there a toe in this?
Have I ever put a toe in a jar?
Yeah, that one.
No, I don't know
Hmm.
why there's a toe in the jar.
Well, that's
Do you,
something for later.
Zeno, do you have proficiency with alchemist tools by chance?
Yes.
Well, you're not. You can attempt to identify it if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I would be looking at it. Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead and roll me. It's going to be intelligence based to recall off memory if you've ever seen such a potion before.
Can I help him with that?
Sure. Again,
Yeah,
either one of you guys gets advantage on the roll, or you both roll individually, and I'll take the highest one.
There we go. There you go. 15.
Glad you called it before I rolled.
Okay, fair enough. 15. This toe, quite large. You sort of look over your shoulder toward where Maggie's standing, and you look toward her feet, about the same size of an ogre, or perhaps a hill giant. This is a potion of hill giant strength.
I knew it.
Well,
Zav
I-
had one.
I share that with the group. Now I remember. Actually, I do know what that is. That's a concoction of hill giant strength.
interesting.
What does that do?
It makes your strength 21 for 1 hour.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I've never been one to be too strong. You go right.
I'll just hold on to it for now. I am decently strong, but I don't know how strong Zeno is.
Strength. I don't. Strength is not my strong suit. I use strategy.
Strength is my weakness.
A man,
can use
man
a-
of my own nature.
I'd say if I had to describe my strength, it'd be average. I'm of average strength.
But with
guess,
this-
though, with this though, you can be stronger than maybe whispers Baggy. But I
Could
mean,
be. Yeah.
if I'll hold on to it for now, if in case somebody else might need to use it. But
I mean, I'll carry it if you're asking me to. No problem.
I think you're one that would benefit perhaps more than I, since I am a bit stronger than the average feline and perhaps human and other races, except for perhaps an ogre.
He takes it and puts it in his pouch.
There you go.
Well, this is all good. but
Have you found anything?
Apart from the blood, no. I'm not sure how to get to the big-bellied man thing.
Maggie asks that question.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would. He clears his throat in awkwardness.
I heard you talking about me. I mean, I'm standing like 15 feet away from you guys.
I whispered
We're
it.
not
I
talking
whispered
about
it.
you.
I said
I
whispered.
know. Fair
I
enough.
said whispered.
Fair
You
enough.
can't bring that in.
But you are 15 feet away from him, so I don't know how low that whisper was.
Very,
Fair enough.
very softly. It's a whisper.
I just
Okay.
share that. Yeah, we just stumbled across a potion of giant strength. Is all.
What did you say we're here for again? I don't like this place.
I'm not the
Well-
biggest fan of it either.
We're looking for what was his name? Sort of looking back to the other
Regis.
crew. Regis.
Oleus, brother to the Inquisitor in Chigao.
Do you figure he was one of those guys? And she just sort of nods toward the bedrolls.
Could be. It looks like, and correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I misheard you earlier. It looks like the people that might have been here were drug out of this cavern, right? They didn't go through that crevice where we heard the croaking. They were drug out of the entire cave.
It looks like they were not from the entire cave. The drags are from the beds to the entry of this chamber. You didn't.
Just the entry of the chamber, and then
Yeah, they only went as far as like here, and you just didn't investigate there yet.
Yep.
But yeah,
just powers of observation. There's a lot of blood in here, drag marks. These folks were pulled out of here probably against their will.
Interesting.
I don't. Yeah, that's a very acute observation. I don't think they were dragged here with their will. Yeah, yeah, kudos.
Yeah, that's my powers of looking.
Unless she was with heavy flow, I don't fucking know what. How could you willingly bleed that much? No.
When Nia was looking through the bags and whatnot, did she find any symbols or insignias of any kind that might have helped to identify?
No, and that's curious enough because the Overwatch does mark all their standard issue gear with the symbology, and you didn't find any.
Yeah, actually, that sort of sparked my memory. I do want to examine that mural with the spider. Is it something that I would recognize? Yeah.
Without needing to rule for religion at all, it is very known that the symbols of the gods. This one is of Lolth, the Spider Queen.
Okay. Nothing more than just that.
It's a mural on the wall. I mean, oops, hold on. Music went weird there for a second.
Rick, what is this?
It's not beauty to investigate if you want.
I want.
What do you do?
So how is it put on? It's put on the stone, right? Does it look like the chalky stuff that is all over the floor, or is it paint? Does it look like it would wipe away?
It looks like paint. It looks like it would wipe away.
I start to wipe away one of the legs.
Okay, you wipe away one of the legs, and then you see from your touch, as you smear it, the paint glows with a wave toward the center of the symbol and then pulses out. And you hear a sound from deeper within the cave. This.
And I sense that as that's coincidental, huh?
You feel a gust of draft as a rush of air comes and snuffs out Ivan's torch. And he just gives out a, ah! I can't see.
I wipe away another leg.
Nothing. Like, it reacted to your initial touch.
Okay.
And you feel the gust of wind coming from behind Ivan, taking out his torch. And once again, you smell that very strong, awful stench of death that has been carried on the wind.
Did he just block the passage?
Not sure. Something happened.
You round the corner, you see that the blockage, it's gone from the ceiling maybe 5 feet down.
Well, that's a terrible security system.
So it would seem.
Looks like we
I
found a
don't
way
think-
in, people.
I'm walking over here.
Sure thing.
No more tiptoeing. Tired of tiptoeing.
Right, staying near Galvin.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as we get in here, how high is this tunnel?
The tunnel, 15 feet above your heads. The torch barely grazing the bottom of this canopy of webs above you guys.
Okay.
As you continue onward, you hear the sound of as another torch is being lit behind you, as Irvin recovers another torch, and the rest of the group follow you guys. Riot and Galvin ahead of you guys, as you round the corner, you see a cluster of these orb shining objects, like large red gemstones.
The things are right here in front of us.
Yes.
The bottom stuff. How do I make that circle?
I shift and then left click to ping in that position.
Shift.
Hold left click on top.
You can just hold left click too, but if you shift click it, then it pings and it brings the camera to you, so I know where you're
shit.
pinging. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Cool. All right. I will want to inspect those.
How? Just
I will hold out my torchlight to it. Galvin, do you think it would be a bad idea if I toss something into that?
I'm not gonna stop you, but if we blow up, we blow up.
Do you mind if I use you as perhaps a shield here?
No. You can use your witful thoughts.
you can use your shield as a shield. You're wearing one.
Still just trying to be a little cheeky is all.
Fair enough.
Riot will take his staff, because he does have a staff,
Okay.
and he will reach out with it and touch one of these gems with
Okay.
it.
You expect the gem to make a little tink sound or something like that? No, instead it's like a. It's an egg.
Knew it.
And you poke through it, and you can see tiny white spiderlings crawl out of it
Oh,
and just fall to the floor and die.
good for
So these are spider eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Riot wants to see if he can inspect and figure out the species of them.
Sure. Looking close. 4 legs. Still like a spider maw, still spider eyes, spider body, and all that. 4 legs.
Anything that is
Four-legged
identified
spider?
as that, like, is there any marks that might identify it a bit as? Sorry, I'll close the door so you don't hear barking.
Sure.
Poison
The
or deadliness. of venom.
roaming nature, I guess. These are not developed spiderlings, not ready to hatch. You've killed them early,
24,
essentially.
natural 20 again.
The front 2 legs have this like split ending, almost like crab claws. And you look even closer, fingers, tiny fingers
Oh,
that
fuck's sake.
curl in as they're dying. There are no markings that would identify them as being poisonous because they're just like the stark white color, just not developed yet.
Do they? So my next question would be: do you think that they would Riot recognize this being a natural creature of nature or not, or would this be formed with
Versus
like demonic ritualism of a sort?
Roll me Arcana.
Fuck.
It's bizarre. You've never seen a four-legged spider. Maybe it is mutated by the abyssal forces. It's a fine theory, but you don't know for certain.
Riot will go
Melina.
around them and leave them then.
Okay.
Riot will actually look. Melina, have you ever heard of spiders that are four-legged, have claws, but also fingertips a little bit?
What's possible? It's an amalgamation
Mm-hmm.
of a drow and a spider being infused into one. But other than that, I really wouldn't know much.
Roll me religion.
If it's spider, yeah.
I'm just throwing facts at you. It's always fun if you can use your background, right?
Yeah.
You would know that what
23.
you're talking about is not born from eggs. That is a born through ritual of infusing yourself with a demon.
Is this a natural world, or is this something that's not natural?
Well, spiders naturally have 8 legs, so I'm gonna say this is probably not natural.
Are you talking about those drow with like the body of a spider, but the half a woman, like the upper half body? Those?
Yeah, like I don't know the exact lore on them.
I won't tell you, but those are born from literally becoming demons.
Oh.
They're not from eggs.
Riot's essentially trying to figure out if these are natural or not, and if they're not naturally created by nature, he would like to remove them. That's more or less what he's trying to figure out.
Can you light them up with your torch? Light them up.
If you can light them up with your torch, they're not children of nature. They're witch. I've been trying to roll Arcana from this area.
I fucking don't know. I have no clue.
It's
probably something that we haven't seen here before. Something's producing these, but I've never seen.
Yeah.
I don't know if this would be helpful, but my ancestors dealt with the tunneling one. Would I know any stories of potentially four-legged spiders?
Torog to do with these creatures?
Maybe.
Lolth is the goddess of spiders more than anything. Torog is not, though he is the crawling king, his aberrations were not really spider-like.
Okay.
And his monstrosities were, spider aberrations were more Lolth's sort of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right, could you see if those are flammable?
Riot will go up to one of the dead spider bodies and just light up, or one of the eggs or the spiders?
Maybe the juice.
The juice? Okay. Riot will try casting Druidcraft on the juice to see if it will ignite at all.
Doesn't take. Just fizzles.
Riot shakes his head.
Oh, well.
I think you would have to break them, and I think a sword would be better than a staff.
Though a spider with flammable blood. DM takes notes.
You said it was.
Was that?
You said it wasn't flammable.
I said it wasn't flammable, but I am taking notes.
I see a dead body.
Sure do.
I will let others decide whether they should remain or not. Because
Xeno's gonna keep moving on.
I just want to make sure that everybody's done with this room before I move on.
Yeah, I want to go
done with the eggs.
Find Regis. Sure. Regis is the goal.
Right. Right. As you, Gavin, round the corner first, you turn a corner of the tunnel, and in the dim light of the gently glowing red mushrooms, you see a withered, dismembered corpse among the rubble in front of you. It's partially burst, leaving gore and poisonous sludge over the ground. The remains of the corpse look to be partially wrapped in a sticky webbing. Gross.
By the way, do I see any webs that look like they're leading back into a central cavern, perhaps, or do they just look like they're half strewn about?
You're following a singular cavern. There's the way back and there is a way forward. It doesn't branch. You see webbings all throughout. Like you see them on the map, they're all throughout this place. Roll me perception check.
Okay.
While he's looking at the body, I want to look up at the ceiling.
Average.
The largest... what the fuck was that? The largest cluster of webbings is around this body. But from the sheer spread of the webs, they weren't spun. You can tell they were like projectiled and then splattered, burst, and then burst onto the like slime. Burst from one end of the wall toward another and then splattered outwards, forming these conical shapes of trajectory. You have no idea which direction they go in, but that's sort of what you get with a perception 10.
Spider-Man is near.
Oh yeah, Spider-Man's doing his job.
My children.
I don't care about the body, so I'll move on. But if anyone else wants to look at it,
I would. Right,
I'll
would.
stop over here.
Wait, you're not looking... I mean, is this who we're looking for? Is this your Regis?
No, that's not him.
The body?
Regis is the one.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say this isn't Regis. Regis is the one that I had eyes on with Kane, my familiar. He's in the ritual, cavernous part. We need to get to him.
Who's identifying the body? I didn't hear that, sorry.
I said right would move up to him if Galvin left, but if Naya wanted to, I'd leave it to her.
What do you guys do with the body? Yeah.
Sure. Nia will investigate amongst the webs and the remnants of the bones to see if there are any identifying features such as jewelry or any perhaps metal crests or whatnot. From
Roomy
perhaps any
medicine.
leftover armor. Cool, I'm good at that.
You're good at biology, just like Megan. Yikes! What, still 7?
Right, Ryan's there helping. Right?
Sure.
Ryan is there helping her.
So go ahead and roll with advantage. Go ahead and pick the highest of 2 dice. I'm good at this.
Ryan
roll.
also wants to know how this guy died.
Mm-hmm. So Nia gets to roll another medicine die and pick the higher of 2. Yeah.
Okay. Be better. Fuck that!
There is not much left of this man, but you can tell he's Trow, and he is wearing the tattered remains of an Aurora Watch uniform.
You know how he died?
Is there any kind of like version of like dog tags or something to the Aurora Watch?
No, but there's their uniform, which this guy's wearing. How he died, you don't need a medicine check for that. He lost his head and then burst from within. Like, his chest cavity and ribcage just, like, burst outwards, and you were, like, inches away from standing in a puddle of, like, this poisonous sludge.
It was burst out of. Did it look like something crawled out of it?
Maybe.
Okay, that would have been told us in the investigation. God damn it.
Nia turns to Melina and is like, have you ever seen anything like this? Do you perhaps know of any rituals that could cause this, or do you think he was attacked?
It's hard to say with anything. I spend most of my time in libraries and books, and
And you
I don't
never
know.
came across anything of the like?
DM. I don't know.
So,
What I know of any like rituals or like what creatures would have laid, like eggs, or how they work like this, or
creatures that lay eggs in people. Go ahead and roll me nature. Thankfully not in the Dwindlian Empire, but you have read about certain species in the Swahili Isles, which is to the far south of the Sword Coast, the Menagerie Coast, of these giant wasps about the size of a man who, with their stingers that extend big, are able to lay eggs. And you pray to God you're not in the hive of one of these, but they thankfully don't make webs either. You are, with that information, fun fact, and that horrifying thought of these giant wasps, you're pretty certain that you're not in a hive of one of these, but you're also not certain what sort of creature could have done this to the corpse. Some arachnid, by the evidence, right, gathered? But, sorry, 11 doesn't...
Yeah.
Doesn't
That's
reveal
fine.
much.
Right.
I was just going to say, I probably just don't know anything about it. Like, demonology is not really my expertise or,
Apparently.
nature so much.
Could have been,
Yeah,
but...
would Zeno know? Given that I deal with a lot of the, monstrosities
Okay.
in this general area of Wildmount.
Roll me religion, and you'll see why in a second.
Wow, 15.
Zeno, you've slain beasts, but you don't specialize in them. They're more like a common prey that any hunter can hunt. You specialize in the undead, fiends, and celestials?
Fae.
Fae, fiends, and undead. While you're not certain what type of a creature... 15? While you're not certain what type of a creature could have laid eggs in this thing that have burst out, you know that that's not the reason why this guy died. This is a husk burster. It is an undead creature that dies like this. Upon dying, it bursts. It's a zombie type. When it loses the necromantic energies that drive it, those energies literally physically escape out of it in a one final death burst.
I definitely share that after looking at it closely.
You just had to take 10 minutes to examine it to be certain, because there's not much left of his corpse. But yeah, now you're pretty certain that's the case. Husk bursters.
So this thing literally goes all exploding kittens on us?
Yeah.
Well,
So it does. So it does.
Alvin, keep your eyes up and to the walls as well as in front.
Where do
You don't
think
know
they've
where-
been?
I don't know. All I can tell is there's something of a spider nature here, and
Oh,
I have not
really?
ever come across it. And
Oh.
it's terrifying.
I would say these are so common that you've actually encountered some of these before. You've seen it in action, and it's pretty lethal when it happens if you don't spread out from them. They look like this, my friend, and you can use your colorful language to describe them.
Those.
Oh,
look
the
so
image is broken.
delightful.
Is it for all of you guys?
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
It
mine,
pops
mine
up.
works.
it's fine.
I will restart mine then.
I can.
They are.
Oh wait, I can open up the image, but I can't see it.
That's weird. I can post it into the general chat. Here you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Nick, how are you doing for time, by the way? Are you okay with keeping going?
Yeah, I can keep going. I don't think we're going to finish this, though. But I can go for a little bit.
It is what it is. Party space, right? We discussed that how RP might take some time. Melina, you're sort of trailing it back. You don't need to roll anything to perceive this. In your dark vision, you can see that Goserides is picking up these eggs and he's carefully putting them into a sack, one after another, to study later.
That's what I was going to ask. I was literally just about to ask that to study for later, or
We have
you
no
have any use
answers.
for it?
I am very curious to know what we are about to face, but there's not enough time for us to rest here, nor would I want to. But, they would go wasted here. Either they'll become part of the circle of life, or... You know what, the entire party is exploring the rest of the dungeon as you guys are having this conversation.
No, I'm
He
just
seems-
assuming we're
seems keen to
walking
explore.
and talking. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll pick up a good 6 or 7 of them, and yeah.
That's a really big cage, eh, guys?
Okay, I guess I'll describe the next room then. Jumping on ahead. The cave twists and turns, becoming increasingly populated with these gently glowing mushrooms ahead. Indeed, a heavy cage, made of metal, with an open door, sits against the wall of the cave to the south. Explore away.
Ed pushes Galvin forward.
Just walk around me. Jesus, you're some fucking moody today.
I walk over here.
Stay behind Galvin.
I ain't going near that anus-looking thing.
Just puffs out a little puff of a little fart of spores.
I walk to the center of the room.
We're all clustered behind you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The
why
hive
everybody's
moves.
So fearful.
I just love them moving all together like that. Information.
Okay,
What?
I'd like to check out the cage before.
Yeah.
Sure. Most evidence, you can see that it's swung open. It's empty. There's somebody inside, not even remains of the dead, just shackles, chains, and the cage door swung open. And there's webbing strung from the open cage to the gate, essentially. Yeah, go ahead and make me an investigation check. See what you find.
Sure thing. Galvin holding out his lit spear. Rolls investigation. 18.
18? That's awesome. The door is open. As you examine the cage, you find an aged, twisted holy symbol in the shape of like a pentagon, and then other lines coming out of it to make a dodecahedron. It's a little bit warped, aged, rusted. And you can see one corner has been like blunted, as if it's been ground against stone or metal. Looking around some more, you can see it. Upon the bars from the top to the bottom, inscribed in common glyphs, is writing. Into the iron bars is written, "She seeks to blot out our inner light. Luxon, help me, or we are lost."
Ah, okay. Well, that's a ominous message as always. Does Galvin thinks to himself, does this have to do with like blocking out people's abilities to be consecrated? Potentially? Or
You think that?
to defile? Well, I don't think there's been anyone in this cage for a bit. Is there anything else anyone wants to look at?
Not in here. I see something off
Oh.
in the next room.
I do
That
too.
seems to catch my eye.
You should go look at it, Zeno.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
I'll
okay.
give you a gold to stand in the middle of it and put a drop of blood on the floor.
Sure.
You say that out loud?
No, I don't say that out loud. I do enter just the inside of the mouth of this, and I definitely look left. I look right. I look up.
Rolling perception check.
No,
Hunter,
no,
did you say that out loud?
Go any further?
Sure.
Sorry, did I say what out loud?
So Zeno, rolling perception check. Hunter, did you say, "I bet you to put a drop of blood in this thing"? Or did you just joke around?
I jokingly said that to Zeno.
Okay. Rolling insight.
Are you asking me to roll insight? I don't know.
No,
hold on. I have
Ga-
advantage
Galvin.
on insight checks, by the way.
Good, yeah. Go for it.
There, just to prove it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I already said look. Never mind.
Oh,
So, with 12 perception check, Zeno, you look around, you see more of that thick webbing along the ceiling. The ceiling here is much taller. It's almost like a church, the way it's sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like when it arcs up into like a cone shape. It's arcs up into a cone shape. It will come to me. You look left, you look right into the peering into the darkness beyond the threshold of the blinding light of the torch. You see hundreds of spider webs line the 20-foot high, higher ceiling of this cave, which is gently lit by these glowing mortar mushrooms. To the right of the tunnel is a workbench covered with what appears to be rusted metal junk. A large hexagonal altar decorated with intricate carvings of spiders sits nestled against one wall, and within each one of these carvings is like a glowing gemstone or some glowing rock, red in color.
right.
There's a piece of red cloth and a pair of manacles at the center of this. And as you step toward,
I'm in there.
I don't know, what are you doing, I guess?
Yes, yeah, I approach it. I want to inspect each of these, or at least starting with the one I'm closest to, inspect the sort of pillar to see if there's some sort of, just inspect it to see if there's maybe those knives. Maybe those knives could be inserted into each of these. Sort of looking to see if there's like an inlet.
I like that. Good insight, although there are no slits, and each one is a identical carving of a spider, ending with its body facing away from this altar, with a gem pointing toward the center. But there are no slits for knives, though Good creative thinking. I'm gonna give you inspiration for that.
Hooray!
Pretty like abyssal or infernal writing around.
Abyssal. Now that you look
What
at it,
does it say?
upon the bottom, close to the floor, from the writing, you can't understand all the words because Abyssal is a complicated language. But even though you mastered it, but from what the general idea, it appears to be some sort of a life siphon, as well as a tether point, a breach in the material plane to the abyss. It is a ritual circle, an abyssal written around it. So it describes the spell. That's with your Arcana proficiency, you would be able to pick up on that. It's less infernal is less like writing, more like runes of magic and other shit. But you get an idea.
Yeah.
It's
so
just
like what? It's like.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's like you give blood and it's like an open portal gateway or something.
Yes, among other things. It is a tether point, meaning that you can give and you can take. You can give to the abyss and you can take from it and summon someone from this gate forth. Each time requiring a sacrifice.
Okay.
You can also imbue objects with essence from the abyss using this device.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is starting down the. Well, fuck. It is. It's black magic. This is something dark. And I explain what you had explained into detail. Like, this is some very heavy stuff right here, and this is going unnoticed. We need to put a stop to this, and hopefully we'll get Regis, but also slay whatever demons here, and perhaps even destroy this.
Oh, we're definitely gonna have to get the Inquisition to come deal with this.
Speaking of dark magic, as you made a joke about dark magic before, with a 14 insight, you can tell that, that butterfly effect that some people do not like this. Yeah, Gulsaria did not find that funny at all.
Well, Gulsarian's not funny, so...
Okay, you got him. But you did notice the very brief expression of, like, disgust at the comment. That's about it. She's just testing spells, I guess. Okay. There is that altar. Manacles. You can tell from where you're standing with your sense of smell keenly, with just a passiveness. It is soaked in blood. It's not red by dye. It used to be white.
Interesting.
There was definitely something sacrificed here. And you okay, so Melina, you had shared all of that. I wonder if something was sent to the other plane. Or
I'm worried about what was brought into this world, into the material plane, and then what's holding this, dark energy in here.
Looking just based off of maybe smell, maybe even looking and touching the cloth, I'm trying to gauge an age of how dried the blood is. Are we talking maybe days? Are we talking years, centuries?
Years and centuries would turn blood into dust, maybe staining the cloth and not making it smear. Weeks would make it flake off and smear, almost like rubbing ash on your fingers. This blood is sleek against your fingers and it's cold, but in liquid form. It's a fresh kill.
This is fresh. Probably within the past 24 hours.
Likely, yeah. Past less than 24 hours. 24 hours would make it like that flaky consistency.
Yeah, I imagine.
It will like brown it real quick. This is like a fresh sacrifice.
Well, we know we didn't pass anybody.
Megan?
Nia goes to approach the altar and kind of like grabs onto one corner of the cloth that is viewed across it and begins to pull a little bit to attempt to see if there is something to be revealed below.
I can't do it in the map, but you pull on the cloth, the manacles come towards you, make it of this like dark iron. Beneath it is a very detailed sigil. A hell circle. A It
You said
is
it's a hell circle?
a hell circle. It connects
Oh,
to a
fuck.
layer of the 9 hells. That's where this leads. You're dealing with a possibly summoned devil. If something was brought in through this gate. Written in Abyssal because that's the language of the betrayed gods. That's just for funsies. Yeah.
Melina's eyes. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, through her researcher background, would she be able to recall any lore with regards to this particular symbol? If there's anything that makes it unique amongst the Hell Circles?
Sure. Roll me. This will be religion. Betrayed gods is always religion.
I'll help with that.
Sure thing. Fiends is your deal too. It is a sigil of the 9 hells in general, but sort of taking a deeper look into it. If you want to roll twice and take the higher one, I'm just looking to see if you're fishing for natural 20 there.
I can go twice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just got the help from.
Turn on my fancy scrolls or my fancy rollers. Where are they? Where'd it go? I rolled. It did not work. Let me try that again. Did it go?
No. Did you get a number?
Oh,
there you go. There's that 20. There's that 20.
There she is.
The 9 layers of hell. Name so: Avernus, Dis, Minerus, Phlegothos, Stygia, Malgorn, Maladomini, Cania, Nasus, and Archon. Archon's the last. These are the names of them as they're sort of written around the circle, as Melina assists with a little bit of translation. This circle is of the first layer of Avernus, summoning a demon from one of the only planes that can be connected to. No planar portal connects directly to the lowest layers of the 9 hells, simply by the orders of the King of Hell, Asmodeus. So this is connecting to one of the upper planes. Avernus acts as sort of the arrival point for visitors to the plane, as well as souls who have freshly arrived to the 9 hells, those of the lawful evil alignment, and those who have praised the betrayed gods of the Avernian layers. It is, from what you've read, you know that Avernus is a rocky wasteland with rivers of blood and clouds of biting flies, fiery comets that occasionally fall from the darkened skies above and leave fuming impact craters behind them. There are empty battlefields that are littered with weapons and bones, for war is known even in hell, where legions of the 9 hells armies have met with their foes and have soaked soil and pervased it with their essence. I don't want to lore dump you. I'll answer one specific question you have about this circle here, and that's gonna be like the 20 rule there. Do you have a specific question that you're trying to unlock? Just kind of recalling what you've read before about the 9 hells. Something that might be useful for what you might encounter ahead.
I'm blanking. Can I defer to like Zito or Melina?
It's your rule, it's your knowledge, so no. But I'll give you this. If you have nothing, the commandments of Asmodeus are written upon the inner circle to sort of help with the connection from the material to the 9 hells. And with Melina's translation, you're able to decipher them unless you speak Infernal for whatever reason, or Abyssal.
No, her additional language is Undercommon.
So Melina will help you with that. The commandments of Asmodeus are thus: assert dominance and power over others, whereby you show your strength of will in the image of Asmodeus. You repay cruelty done unto you with the further evil. If others show you kindness, exploit it. And last one. As you ascend to power, do not pity or show mercy to those you climb over to get there. Compassion is for the weak. And these words, imbued into their respective runes, have empowered the circle. This is the real thing. It's not a mimicry, it works.
Okay.
I know Infernal, just for reference as well.
Cool. Makes sense.
Nia kind of looks from left to right, from Zeno to Melina, and kind of is at a bit of a loss for words, and just kind of continues to observe and awaits to see if perhaps they have anything that they would like to add.
Yeah, sure. I would share. Just sharing. So all of that knowledge being shared, basically, essentially the commandments. Zeno would share. That is exactly why we need to stop any seeping demonic presence in this world.
Exactly. I can agree that this is incredibly dangerous, and the fact that we even found something like this is just incredible. But once this is all over with, we need to destroy it. I don't know if we would even have time to even try to get people to come back here. It's a literal portal.
I agree. It needs to be destroyed.
Is it possible to remove the gems to destroy the portal?
Perhaps. Try.
Can
I just say that while you're planning that, I'll just pan over to camera to just ask, Hunter, are you doing anything by that table?
Well, I was hoping to investigate the table.
I just want to give you the chance to do that before they do anything drastic.
Sure, yes, that sounds like a good idea, yes.
That makes sense. Since you've been standing there the entire time while they were looking around it for like another additional 5-10 minutes.
I'm gonna ask Dermot if he could
Yeah?
take a look at this with me.
Sure, buddy.
You're
Please.
one of religious practice.
Hmm?
Do you make anything of this? It looks like scrap metal, but I find that hard to believe.
With Dermot helping you, pick from Arcana or Religion as you're looking through a scrap, and roll with advantage.
We're gonna go with religion. Sorry, my brain's not working fast today.
It's fine, it's getting late.
Got
We're okay.
11.
11? Most of his scrap has, if it has been anything useful, it has been destroyed somehow. You can tell it has been scorched, burnt, shattered by force. These are pieces of a whole device. But then you hear Dermot gasp as he clutches at his hoist symbol, and he lifts a piece of scrap to sort of let you see. The pile of metal scraps used to be in a shape, as he puts it together, of a dodecahedron.
Oh.
And it looks to have been unfinished, but assembling together, you can tell that that's the shape it was gonna take shape. Almost like an early attempt to recreate what you would know is like a beacon-like object, like the beacons of Luxon. But there's something malicious about it. The way the iron has been wrought, the way it's been spiked, the way it's been like shaped to channel the energies, and the way that infernal runes and abyssal runes have been sort of intermixed with it. What do you think?
Dermot, I think I understand. The message in the K said they want to strip the light from us. I think they might have been trying to take their own beacon so that when people die, they come to here, to the abyss.
Or worse.
Yeah, or worse. I don't know what's worse than the abyss.
Well,
They could also be using it for demons too,
That
to
could come-
consecute them.
I think demons. I don't know much about demons. I don't know.
let's see if Dermot has anything that can be of use here for a quick. Your wounds blessed, spare 9 light guidance. You can only cast guidance on you, but that's too late for that now. Though Dermot shakes his head to think that there's something wrong with this device in the sense of, I don't think it's meant to mimic. He says, I don't think it's meant to mimic the beacon. I think it's supposed to be the opposite of it. undo the bond between us and Loxon, perhaps?
Hell needs its souls.
Well, is this hell or the abyss?
It's Avernus. Hell.
Ah, fair.
Call it what you want.
You're not. There's a mix of the two. The device was recently used to summon something from the hells, but from the spiders, Lolth, she's more of the abyss. That's therein lays the abyssal around the ring.
Interesting. Well, but at least we have a general idea of what was going on. Were you guys going to try and break the summoning rift?
Yeah, we need to.
I don't know if that would be a good
Where's Maggie?
Come
I
here.
don't think of her just
Maggie!
brute force.
Don't yell. We should probably not yell. And as you yell, from a distance, you can hear your yells echo, and then your hearing picks up something. Like, it sounds like cellophane being crumpled up. This skittering sound.
Oh,
Maggie
shit.
Maggie makes her way into the chamber, and then she's like, "Don't yell!" And then you just hear her go, as you see a web just shoot out across her neck and just tether around her and pull in to just garrote her toward the wall and just press against it. The web's coming from behind her from mid-chamber. As we call it a session, and next session we roll for initiative.
Wow.
I blame that on Maggie.
Yeah.
Fucking invisible
Blame the gentle
spiders.
I like how
giant.
the newcomer causes this.
Maggie made it through the chamber, and she pretty much you guys walked below it. You guys did not raise your torches or anything. She walked right into it at eye level because she's that tall, and only Megan could have triggered this trap, and that's great. It was like a spider web silk that was tethered from wall to wall, and as soon as she triggered it, a thing that was hiding nearby, slumbering, web sensed it. And I woke up and just shot this, and I'll show you what they look like. And I'm like, I'm gonna only have it trigger if somebody like actively spots it, but perception was too low, or whatever, or Maggie walks into the room, and I'm just happy that happened. But
Happy that I typically don't
Ah.
need, because my passive perception is really high.
Well, I forget.
pressed against the
rolling on
wall.
passive
Huh?
Is
My
is
my
weird,
passive
right?
perception is 17.
Is anybody's passing perception 25 because that's what they rolled?
No.
I kid you not. Pressed against.
I could make it 25.
Alas, pressed against the walls, melded with the dark shade of the walls, are these four limbed spider-like creatures, and you can see one of the close to Megan just has like a garrote web wrapped around her neck and is pulling her closer. We'll just pick up from here. Next session, I just want to show you guys what these creatures look like.
Spider!
More of them skittering from the back of the cave along the ceiling toward the rest of the group, as the battlefield is divided into twine.
Are you trying to get us to go into Descent into Avernus?
It's a sandbox campaign.
Funny.
Cool. I'll put the bookmark here then. I just want to call a session here because it is 9:20 and also people have to go. And we'll have Julian join combat from outside, I guess.
Session is on the 27th, correct?
26th, unless we were booked at the 27th.
No, it should
Can
be
ev-
27th.
can everybody do the 27th?
Yes.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Including Anthony?
I should be able to,
Should,
unless
yeah, should be fine.
anything crazy happens.
Regular time? 6? Is that what it was?
If you guys want to do a little bit
6.
earlier that day,
But up
I'm
to you.
cool with it because I'm on
Yeah.
vacation, or I don't know how other people, if they're working or on vacation, but
I'm off that day as well.
I'm off the 27th too. I just don't know if I'll be doing something earlier or not.
The earliest I could do it is maybe 5:30. I work till 5.
oh,
We
that's
can,
right.
we can just make it 6 usual. I mean, I don't see the point
That's
of
fine.
starting early. We'll whatever pace we go in, that's the pace we go in, right?
Yeah, awesome.
Neat.
6 on the 27th. Happy holidays, everybody.
Sick.
Yeah.
How did you like the session, Anthony?
No, this was great. It was very detailed, and I really do enjoy that. I just you as a DM, I do appreciate you forcing everybody to get a turn because I like that as well.
Well, I'm not
it's
forcing
good.
anybody. I'm just giving the opportunity. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, tomato, tomato. And I'm excited to see how this party continues to develop because yes, I'm a newcomer, so there's going to be hesitation, but it's going to be fun.
And we'll see how you perform as a competitive party member next time.
Oh yeah, that's true. I don't even know how I'll perform. It'll be new for all of us.
Right.
Well, I had to say some really scary whispers to make the giant worm go away.
Yeah.
There you go.
What was it? You trapped Dermot with you in this combat. You're just like, fuck shit! Where's my party? Gets corroded, gets dragged up, gets bitten. Okay, we'll see how it goes next session. I'm just like, they can theoretically get the entire other party in the room if they call Maggie last, and I was like, it's just great.
Yeah, we have split the party now.
It is what it is.
I mean, there's other creatures coming in from behind.
Hey, we got Dermot. We got the healer.
They're like,
Yeah, there's like 8 of us. I think that will be okay.
maybe.
Hey.
I think. I don't know, but I think.
Tom was super impressed because we legit almost bloodied a level 20 monster last time.
CR16, but yes.
CR16 with just the 5 of you, or are you plus the Maroon 6?
There were like
That
probably
was supposed to Aurora Watch.
like 11 of us again.
Nice.
Yeah, but I mean, it was mostly the party doing the damage overall.
I think it was mostly Gaz. He did a lot.
Gaz was in chat by
was-
blinding it. That was his big accomplishment. Yeah, rolling an extra 20 and blinding the worm. But yeah, no, I was just surprised, like, just to see that, like, you have enough low-level characters on the field, CR stops to matter. But I was more surprised you guys fought it. It was not supposed to be a fought encounter. It was supposed to be like an shit.
We eventually started to run away. We were like, shit, let's run.
As soon as 2 got swallowed, it was more or less save everyone we can.
Yeah.
And the terrain didn't exactly make it easy to run away. It's like I had to go up and down and around.
Just Glissari picking up a spider eggs. This is actually a delicacy among the drow.
He's eating like caviar.
Yeah. Oh my god. I'm so hungry. I'm gonna go eat now.
No, you can't.
I was super lucky because Andrew was off today and I convinced him to make dinner.
Any questions about the campaign before I call the session and I stopped recording, just in case we need anything to be in the video journal?
That should be good.
I'm good.
Okay, then my question then is, for Zeno, do you want me to reveal his bio and info, or do you want to keep anything of that secret?
I don't mind. I don't mind sharing. You could totally reveal it. I don't
because right now it's only visible to you.
Yeah, that's fine. You can see the background as long as you guys play your characters with the knowledge your characters have. Not you as a player. I have no issue sharing. I don't really have any secrets there.
I mean, I can't promise that I can control other people. So, do you want to before I reveal it?
Talking to them. But
yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying that I can't speak I can't speak for Lorian, for example. So
we'll wait a session or two. How about that?
Okay, sure.
That's fair.
Yeah, let's do that. Because I don't know if Lorian's gonna log into like the game and like see our character like, oh, that's neat. So you guys know all of this, eh? So we can use it.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's fair enough indeed. That's fun. The only thing that sucks is that Julian's gonna walk into combat, but I'm literally gonna have him like stand outside the cave and it's like, you see movement inside a cave. And he's probably gonna be like, alright, whatever, something. And he's gonna just chill for like 10 rounds, not do anything while you guys get your asses like
You feel
tethered.
like you're being watched by 36 different sets of eyes.
Yeah.
And the moorbounder's no longer beside you.
Right. Okay. Cool.
That shit dope.
Is it?
I like the session. I thought it was good. It's good. We had a lot of good RP in the intro, or in the beginning. I mean.
Sure. I'll call the recording here. Boop.